All right, we're live.
Hi everyone, it's Brian. I'm here with Matt, also known as megamatt 1254, and this is our first collab live stream. So
Hello,
how are you
guys.
doing, Matt?
Pretty good, man. I'm happy to be here.
I am too. I can't thank you enough for doing this collab with me, and I hope that everyone enjoys it.
For sure. We're just waiting for people to get on. There's no one here yet.
Yeah, I'll take the link, and let me just take the link of it and put it in my chat, in the old one.
Right, yeah, let the
That way,
folks
if
know.
anyone's still there, they'll immediately go to that link.
Perfect. Oh, we got someone.
I don't see.
Hey, Dan.
It's Dan. Yeah, Dan is first place. I think he always is. Yeah, he's fast. Dan is fast.
For sure.
Alright, so the first day of the rest of your life, so fun fact, Matt and I talked about this episode 2 days ago on Saturday for an hour, and it was really fun. Unfortunately, we didn't record it or anything, so we're going to have to do like a rematch for that, or like a redo. So Matt, can you tell Dan and whoever is watching, what did you think of the episode?
So basically with this episode, I think it is actually one of the best finales in The Walking Dead, personally. I like the action, the character moments. I think Negan's really cool in this episode. The only thing I'm not a big fan of in this episode is the dragged on Sasha scenes in the coffin.
Absolutely, I agree. I don't know yet if this is one of the best finales, because there's a lot of great finales in The Walking Dead. I mean, season 2 finale, the season 4 finale, and I would say like the season 6 finale as well. But like, I think that this is definitely one of the best episodes from season 7, since it was very depressing season. And as far as the Sasha stuff, I completely agree with you that they just went back and forth with the Sasha in the coffin scene too many times. They even showed her death at the very beginning of the episode, but it's like, you don't know it because, like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't know it because it's at the very beginning, and then they're going to show how it led to that. But it was just weird. Like, the Abraham flashbacks were great. But the part with her and Maggie sitting on the log, that was a little unnecessary. And then cutting back and forth to Sasha saying some lines that Abraham told her right before, like hours before he died, it just didn't make sense. Because, like, that wasn't the last thing he talked to her about. Actually, when they were in the RV, he mentioned that he asked her if she could ever do something like Maggie. You know what I mean? Like, ever have a kid in this world. Like, didn't he say something like that in the finale? Because this conversation, like, just her talking about that, her not talking about that, but instead of what happens in the flashback, it was just kind of weird.
Yeah, I believe they were talking about that, and I think they also kind of mention it in season 6 a little.
Yeah, like in the season 6 finale, and I'm sorry, the chat is, let me read a little bit from the chat, but yeah, I agree, like, it just, it felt like Sasha was just talking to the audience, like, she was just saying weird things, and then it cuts back to Abraham saying that, and it was like, she remembered that conversation, like, like, perfectly, when that wasn't even the most important conversation she had with Abraham. Like, the last conversation she had was, the most important.
Exactly. And I think that was in the RV, if I'm not mistaken.
It was. So, let's see, we got DeRosa, sorry, and Epic. He says, hey, Brian, how is it going? Really good, Epic. I came from work, I ate food, and now I'm doing my first collab live stream with megamatt. He's absolutely amazing doing this with me, and I really appreciate it.
For sure.
Let's see. Do you want to read some of the chat, or like you want to go back and forth, or?
The thing is with my chat is I can only see 4 messages at a time through my PlayStation area.
Oh, okay.
The 4 newest messages I could see, and then it scrolls away, unfortunately.
Okay. So DeRosa. Okay, so DeRosa says Abraham's return was cool. It definitely was. Glad they got Michael Cudlitz to come back one final time.
Mm-hmm.
Dan said, let's see. Dan says Sasha had a horrible death, and the Michonne stuff was pathetic. But I love this episode. Aside from that, this was amazing. Yeah, I agree. Matt and I talk about it a lot. We talked about it a lot on Saturday, how Michonne was, I'm sorry, but Michonne is like literally the toughest female in the show, and you have her get beaten up by this skinny, no-name garbage lady. I mean, just, I'm sorry, just so disappointing. Talk about Michonne losing like a lot of tough points right there. I mean, like, at least it was better in the comic, you know, and like I said on Saturday, Andrea fighting a savior, a guy who's taller than her, it makes more sense because she's not good hand-to-hand. She's only good with a sniper rifle. But in the show, Michonne's great at hand-to-hand, and you mentioned how she fought the governor, but she's bad with a sniper rifle, you know, so it's kind of like reverse.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And Rose says Rick was in this episode. Yeah, Rick was amazing in this episode. Like, totally spitting in Negan's face. You know, like not backing down. Yeah, like Rick was BA, but I'm not gonna say the actual word, but yeah, it's just a personal preference of mine. You there, Matt?
Oh yeah, I'm just reading some of the chat off.
Okay. Let's see. Epic says, I thought this finale was decent, even though season 7 is such a bad season. Yeah, I agree, Epic. This was really one of the best. It was directed by Greg Nicotero, and he did, given what this episode had, like a death of, like a bad death of a major character, and just other stuff like that kind of hurt it. It was still a good episode, but it definitely could have been better.
Which, the finale? I agree.
Yeah. It just came out of nowhere. So, like, not just Sasha's death, but, I don't know, did Gimple or Greg Nicotero, like, also helping it? Like, I mean, no, Gimple wrote it. So, like, did Gimple decide, like, it's a finale, we gotta have a death?
That's
like,
how it felt when Gimple was running the ship, was if it was ever a finale or mid-season finale, Gimple was like, oh, we gotta throw in a death just to up the epic factor.
Exactly. Like, that's exactly what he did with Beth back in Coda.
Oh, yeah, big time.
I mean, like, okay, yeah, Beth was not the best character. I'll admit it. She was boring. Should they have done, Billy instead of Beth in the show back in season 2? Absolutely.
Agreed.
But I did not hate Beth. Like, I didn't, at least I didn't want her to flat out die, because we were getting some character development from her in season 5, and maybe it wasn't the best, but we still were watching, and then killing her off like that out of nowhere when she knows Glenn and Maggie are still alive, that doesn't make any sense. It comes out of nowhere, and it's only done for shock value, but also it's a mid-season finale. We need a death, and it's like it just is poorly done.
Agreed. Big time.
Let's see. Dan says, as he always is, LOL. I guess he's talking about Gimple. And Dan says, Sasha could have lasted longer. Yeah, Matt, what do you think they could have done with Sasha to have her last longer? Like, just not get captured at all, and...
What I think they could have done was given her more of Andrea's arc from the comics, and also a mix of, I'm trying to remember her name. She was a character in the comics that was captured in Sanctuary during March to War. Was it Holly?
Yeah, it was Holly. She was dating Abraham at the time.
Right. Well, I think they could have done a mix of those two characters, and just had like Sasha take like parts of both their arcs, maybe, because that's what they were kind of doing in season 7 a bit. But then it's just like this random death happens, and it was like, then what was the point?
Yeah, like Sasha's character has literally been building up since season 3 just to get Holly's death when, you know, she was going to get her biggest arc in All Out War, or at least be the most useful, because she's like, she can, she's probably like the best shot in the group. I mean, they set her up as the Andrea. I mean, so I just don't get it. Like, I mean, like, yes, Nico Martin Green was, you know, filming Star Trek, but they really could have done both. I really think that they could have had her do both at the same time. There's so many characters. She doesn't need to be in every episode. They could film it out of order, like they did with Michonne, to make it work. I mean, there's many other options than just let's kill off the character. And I mentioned on Saturday how, like, this was so good, I just have to repeat it. But it's like, it's like we lose Sasha, you know, and Abraham and Glenn. You know, they would have been amazing in the war, but we still are keeping Scott, Tobin, Francine, and Bruce. I mean, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Also, what the comics definitely did better for this was the Holly death in the comics was, like, intentional. Like, Negan had actually made her a walker during a hostage trade, whereas in the show, it's like Negan is completely unaware of this the whole time.
Yeah, it just comes off so weird that, like, Negan just completely did not see it coming. I mean, Negan's supposed to be the mastermind, and we have him somehow making a deal with Jadis completely off screen, but he doesn't see that Sasha is not going to go through with it, that she's lying through her teeth. I mean, and also the way it was so funny when he opens the door and, you know, the coffin, and just Sasha comes out as a walker, and he says that line, and just like she tackles him, and it's that part was funny, but man, does it make Negan look unprofessional?
Oh yeah, big time, how he just lets that happen. And another thing that I noticed about this that I wasn't a huge fan of was how Negan did not suspect Eugene at all of giving any pills or anything, and he just believes that lie Eugene made up, where it's like, oh, the coffin ran out of oxygen.
Yeah, I really did not like that, because, like, in the last few minutes of the episodes, they clearly show Negan, like, raising Lucille and asking Eugene how she could have died, and Eugene gives this lame excuse, and then Negan, you can clearly see in Negan's face that he doesn't believe it, but he can't think of Eugene gave her a pill, and, you know what I mean, like, he can't piece that together, but he is sensing something. He's definitely sensing a lie, but he just lets it go, and it's never brought up in season 8. Like, yeah. I don't get that.
I was just about to say, like, if it's brought up in season 8, then I don't remember it happening, but yeah, I don't think it's ever brought up again.
It isn't. Negan is fully trusting Eugene through all of season 8. Like, it's as if that didn't happen.
Yeah, that's a plot hole in my opinion then, because I don't know. I feel like Gimple, like, when he's writing this stuff, it's just like, oh, we'll just have this character die in this really crazy, shocking way, but then let's just forget it happened and just move on with the plot. Like, it's like, dude, like, you can't just waste characters like that. And then have, like, these random, like, plots put in there, like, Negan is starting to not trust Eugene, and then in season 8, oh, he just trusts Eugene again.
Exactly. Totally agree. Let's see, I'm going to read some of the chat.
Gotcha.
Epic says, hey, Brian and Matt, do you guys ever see Tobias returning to Fear the Walking Dead?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't either, Epic. Not at all. We don't need another Morales. Fear is too good right now to become, you know, that, like, just please don't do that. Then it'll go back to how Fear was in the past. Let's see, Dan says Negan's face got super red though, LOL. Yeah, I did that. The part where Rick is like saying I'm gonna kill you, and like you think like Negan's just gonna yell in his face, but he just smiles. and I took a screenshot and like drew a tomato over Negan's face. Like, I don't know, it just Dan suggested I do that, and I don't know. I mean, it's just he was mad. He did look mad, but then it's like, I don't know. I mean, that was I think it was funny doing it like that.
You never know with Negan.
Yeah, he'll just his head will just turn into a giant tomato. Oh boy. Let's see. Dan says Gimple made good finales, but this death was completely unnecessary. Yeah, I agree. Besides Sasha's death, that's really he's the only named character death in this episode. I mean, we get savior deaths, scavenger deaths, even the deaths of some randoms in Alexandria when Rick is being moved by Jadis at gunpoint to walk to Carl. We see 2 dead Alexandrians. Who were they? Not important. Do you remember that?
I don't actually recall that.
Yeah, when Rick is bleeding from the side because Jadis shot him, which I have a big problem with that. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Just the way he's walking, and you see some people on their knees and being tied up, but you see 2 dead Alexandrians in the street.
Oh, yeah. I remember that now, yeah. It's right before Negan's about to, air quotations, kill Carl.
Yeah. You want to talk about that now?
Oh, yeah, let's go over it.
Definitely. You know how I feel about it. I really think he was going to kill Carl there, because I couldn't see him stopping his swing. But then again, like, that's another plot hole for season 8. If he was going to kill Carl, why is he so broken or upset that Carl actually dies in season 8? I don't get that.
It's because Gimple, with his writing, like, I noticed that he would just write things in purely for shock factor and then never bring these moments up like they didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, Carl getting his eye shot, that we can believe. We're seeing it. It's like, whoa. But when you have Negan saying, I'm going to kill Carl, it's like, it's not as believable. Even after Glenn and Abraham, it's not really believable. Because you know that, because they set up Ezekiel and Maggie are going to the Alexandria. Like, Maggie is thinking about it, and Ezekiel is heading there. They had set that up at the beginning of the episode, so you kind of weren't that scared. You know, the tension wasn't really there as much.
Yeah, I don't know, like, and I'm just trying to think of it here, but oh yeah, I remember now. Yeah, it's in season 10. I remember when Negan is talking to Daryl in episode 14 after Alpha died, and he's sitting there and he's just like, yeah, I would never kill a kid. You don't do that shit. And I'm like, yo, it's coming from you right here. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's like as if Angela King just wanted to, like, retcon that moment.
It's, yeah, like, I get that, but the moment technically did still happen.
And not only that, but now, this might make you surprised how much of a Walking Dead nerd I am, but you remember Barbara? So she had 2 kids, apparently, in Alexandria, and they died when Negan blew it up. So, I don't kill kids. Yeah, tell that to Barbara's face, Negan.
Yeah, plus apparently Mikey was confirmed dead in the bombings as well.
Yeah, and he's what, 16?
Yeah, he's
the oldest?
So he's a kid, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, Negan, don't give me that. It's like the characters don't even notice that too. They have the wiki establishes they have dead kids because of the saviors, and the show forgets it. I mean, I don't know whether to believe the show or the wiki, or if just both are just poorly done. At least during that time. You know?
Yeah.
Let's see, we got a lot in this chat. I'll try to go through these kind of fast. Hey, Chosen One, he says hi. Let's see, Dan says Beth was annoying, and then I started to like her in season 5, but never mind, LOL. Yeah, it's like, why give Beth that character development and then just kill her off? That is weird. Let's see. Dan says, Holly in the show, don't even get me started. Yeah, Holly, how bad was Holly in the show, Matt?
Well, I believe she's only in one episode, and I think she just dies from the wolf attack in JSS, so yeah, it's nothing.
Exactly. They made a character who has some lines in the has some lines in the comic, has a relationship with Abraham, has one of the coolest, surprising deaths from the comic. Just she gets stabbed and dies. I mean, they even set her up in season 5 with Noah. They had Tara asking, Noah. She's like, I saw you talking to Holly yesterday, or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like they even mentioned Holly again at some point, and it's just like, people are like, okay, we finally get to see Holly, hopefully, and no, they just kill her off like a red shirt. I mean, just like I still don't get that, like, because like you had Sasha who was getting the Holly stuff, but then you had Francine, who, don't even get me started on her, and then you have Holly. Like, I don't understand. Holly is just do one Holly, in the show. Why do a Francine and then a Holly? I don't get that.
Yeah, plus, I don't, think about this for a sec. We get this guy, Scott, who gets to stick around for, until the final season now, more than likely. Unless he dies in 10C, which I doubt. But, and then you have Holly, who just gets offed in one episode. And then you have Scott, and they're like, masterpiece character. We gotta leave him around till the end. Best character right here.
Exactly. You hit it right on the money there. I mean, they're only keeping him around because he has Scott Gipple's name. Even though he looks completely different, I mean, they're just keeping him around for that reason alone.
Funny enough, actually, in the picture I'm using here for the stream, that image of Rick and Scott there, in that scene, it's from Season 7, Episode 4, Service, and it's Scott kind of being a jerk to Rick and, blaming him for some crap happening in the community. And, it's, his only notable scene that's, a minute or longer.
Yeah, it's Scott's been around since season 6, and after a season, he finally gets a moment to shine, his biggest moment, and I don't remember it being that exactly, but it's just disagreeing with Rick. It's like, yeah, I'm glad we have you, Scott, not Glenn, or somebody that's actually decent,
Yeah. Nah, Glenn and Abraham, the fans don't like them. Keep Scott around.
Exactly. I mean, he's gotta make that paycheck. Glenn and Abraham, their paychecks are so big. The show has to cut on the budget, but Scott, his paychecks is probably a fraction.
Yeah. And another random thing with Scott is that his wife in real life plays Sasha. I was thinking when she left the show and they killed Sasha off that he would have probably left the show and they would have had Scott probably die first few episodes of All Out War. And then we're in the season 10 finale at this point, which is a certain doom. And I'm like, oh god, this guy's still around.
Exactly, I am too. I try predicting Scott's death every episode, but then it doesn't happen. I'm like, after the season 10 finale or episode 16, I'm like, you remember, I'm like, I'm done. I'm just done predicting his death. He gets, he doesn't get any close calls. Scott doesn't, okay, besides getting shot back in season 6, Scott doesn't have a moment where he, almost dies.
No, and that was his only episode where you see him doing stuff, and he's just this useless guy that they're just carrying around for the whole episode.
Oh man, the fact that Daryl and Michonne have known Scott longer than Rick, their actual family.
Yeah.
Just oh boy. I gotta catch up on the chat. Epic says, by the way, my opinion, the worst episode of the Walking Dead games is 400 Days. Such a waste of time, I agree, Epic. 400 Days was terrible. Have you played it, Matt?
Yeah, I actually noticed something. If you play Season 2 after, right, of The Walking Dead Telltale, All of the people in 400 Days actually make very minor cameos, apart from Bonnie, as members of Carver's group.
Yeah, they get a Scott cameo.
Yeah, I mean, Bonnie actually is like a B-lister character. She sticks around. Everyone else, they're in like one like minor scene of like dialogue and all that. And I'm just sitting here like, well, why couldn't instead of the cabin group, why couldn't we have linked up with these guys? Would have made 400 Days a little bit better at least.
You know why? Because see, 400 days, it's determinant on your choices who goes with that Tavia. So they would have to dig deeper in their pockets, you know, to whichever characters went, you know, to write different versions of the story and different scenes for which character goes. So they couldn't do that, you know, budget, money.
All that crap, yeah.
Well, it's like, if you're gonna advertise that your choices matter, make them matter. If they don't advertise it, or don't even do the game, because it's a waste of time.
I'm just gonna go off topic here for a sec, but there's actually a game called Detroit Become Human. Came out about 2 years ago. And that game, your choices actually matter, and like any choice could like kill your main character off. Like, you could have all of your 3 main characters die before you reach the end of the game, and the game's over.
Yeah, it's by David Cage. He makes great games. The problem with them, though, is he's never done, like, a Season 2 or a sequel for those games. So it's like a one-time game, I guess. But, like, still, I mean, just amazing. I love Detroit Become Human. That is how Telltale games should be.
Should have been, yeah, like...
Or should have been.
I would frickin' love if they rebooted the Telltale games, have new characters, new everything, like, new story... Have, like, with the new graphics, have, like, a really nice comic book art style, and have David Cage develop it.
You know what I would love? I would love David Cage to do a TV game in the Walking Dead universe, or in the TV universe, so the characters look like the actual characters in the show, or, like, you know, like, realistic, like, not comic booky.
Right.
I would like that too, because I don't know if David Cage can pull off a comic book look for characters, but a super realistic look, yes, he can definitely pull it off.
I'd be all for it.
Me too. I would see that and be like, just take my money. Like, I'll take extra shifts at Amazon, just take my money. Like, I want it now. Let's see. I should really catch up with these chats. Dan says Sasha was Andrew for me in the show. So much potential. I agree. And Dan says Scott and Bruce. Why? Just why? Yeah. Like, why Bruce? Like, out of like Francine, Scott, and Tobin, like those 4 characters, Bruce has probably the least. Like, he dies back in No Way Out in the comics, but in the show they're like, let's keep him around. Why? I don't know.
Wasn't there a character named Bruce in the comics who was a part of the governor's group? He was like his right-hand man or something? Like, he's a big guy?
Yeah, he's big, bald, and his name's just Bruce. I don't think he has a last name, or it's like Bruce Cooper or something, but, yeah, I don't know. Robert Kirkman made their names the same, but I guess he was thinking that it's not unrealistic for characters to have the same name.
Yeah.
Same first name.
I agree with that, yeah.
Because I know, like, 3 Davids, you know, like, in my life, or, you know, like at my church or something. Like, there's a lot of common names sometimes.
Right.
Let's see. The Chosen One says, I don't like how Eugene assisted Sasha. Yeah, Sasha's like, you know, she wanted to find a way to kill Negan with a knife or something. Eugene gives her a pill, and it's kind of like someone's on, like, it's like if someone was on a machine that was keeping them alive, and they asked Eugene to pull the plug, he just like, okay, and it's like, whoa, you're not supposed to do it that easy, you know? It's like, I mean, this is Sasha. I mean, I don't know, like Eugene. I'm surprised he doesn't have more like regret or something after that.
That's why I don't like Eugene's season. Like, from season 4 to 8, I never liked Eugene. In season 9, the character grew on me a bit, and in season 10, I'm actually quite fond of the character now.
Me too. The death threats that Josh McDermott was getting, that was uncalled for.
It's bull crap, yeah.
Just, yeah, stupid fans. I shouldn't even call them fans. They were just toxic.
No, like, the Walking Dead community, like, we don't look at those guys as fans.
I agree. Let's see. Dan says Eugene was annoying in this one, though. Yeah, he was. And let's see, Negan looked very unprofessional. LOL. And also Negan's speech from the comics wasn't existent. Yeah, I think it was okay that Negan just said, we're going to war. In the comic, that speech was kind of, like, I don't think it would have worked in the show. But also, it would have maybe not taken, the audience may not have taken it seriously.
I don't know. With Negan, though, like, he just says the most ridiculous stuff, so it's almost like you'd expect him to say something like that, honestly.
True. Dan says, plot hole, the pigs. Wait.
Oh, yeah. When Ezekiel was poisoning pigs.
Yeah, they never addressed that either. It was like a side story they were setting up for, and then they decided not to go with it. Maybe that would have been the thing that pushed the Saviors to punish Ezekiel and them, and then they decided, no, let's just have Richard steal a melon and kill off Benjamin. Maybe that's what happened. Like, they're doing rewrites as they're going through the season, and then they forgot some things that they established before.
I'm gonna be honest, the pig moment, in my opinion, like, I feel like it was just another thing with Gimple just trying to shock the viewers, like, oh, look, like, we're gonna freaking show you guys, like, oh, look, the Saviors, they're gonna get poisoned, and you're gonna see all this happen. And then, like, in a couple episodes later, whenever, I think we go back to the Kingdom in, like, episode, what is it? I think it's, I don't think we see them again until 7B, correct me if I'm wrong.
So, I think, no, we should get some, did we get some of the Kingdom in episode 7, Sing Me a Song, or Heart Still Beating? Did we get any Kingdom?
I think we might have got, like, minor Kingdom scenes, and that's it.
I think so, too. I think we got a little bit before the mid-season finale.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big storyline was dropped.
But anyway, back to what I was saying, and yeah, I do agree with you, though, like, with 7-13, the one where Morgan kills Richard, I feel like the whole thing with that was, that originally was going to be the pig storyline, maybe comes to an end in that episode, but then they're like, actually, let's just have Richard do something so we can have, like, this whole, like, thing going on with Morgan.
Yeah, that definitely seems more plausible. Hold on. Dan says Maggie's speech helped this episode a bit for me. I agree. That was a great speech from Maggie. Very, very touching. Talking about Glenn.
Right. Okay. Dan just said, we don't actually see the Kingdom at all until season 7, episode 8. Wow.
Wow, that's like 6 straight episodes.
Yeah, that's bad.
Man, like, they were doing too many communities.
Oceanside, cough, cough.
And the second half, the Junkyard Group. But we'll talk with them. We'll talk with them later. I'm gonna catch up with this chat.
Yeah.
Epic says like The Walking Dead, 400 days. They hyped those characters returning in season 2 so much, only to have them vanish after 1 and make it all worthless. I agree. Talk about waste of money. Dan says Alexandria will not fall, not on this day. Wait till 808. Oh wow, that's what Dan said. That is true. Alexandria did kind of fall.
And it fell again.
Well, he said not on this day, so
right.
He didn't say it will never fall. He just said not on this day. But yeah, I guess that day eventually came in 808.
Right.
Let's see. Sorry, I'm just trying to go through these as fast as I can, because I don't want to miss anyone's comment. Let's see. The Chosen One says Negan did not care for Carl on the show as much as comic form. Neither did Rick IG, because he kind of forgot about Carl a few episodes after his death. I don't think so. I think that Rick was like, I don't know. What do you think, Matt? I think that Rick was. I will say he was sidelining mourning for Carl to focus on the war by going to Jadis, and then that didn't work, and then he was just trying to kill Negan, and then killed the Saviors, and it was like, Rick, you did 3 things now instead of mourning for your son. You know what I mean?
Here's what I'm thinking was, I think he was trying to avoid the fact that Carl wasn't around anymore, and he just didn't want to accept it.
Yeah, that could be. That could be it. Dan says he had plans for Carl. Okay, then Negan. Yeah, he had plans for Daryl too, right? Like when this confused me a little bit. When Simon and them, so in I think it's like 7:10. Simon comes to Alexandria and it was like, Daryl's escaped. If he's here, we really want to see. We really want you guys to see us kill him, or something like that. And then in here, Negan's like just smiling. He's touching his heart. He's like, I gotta have my Daryl back. It's like, wait, what? Like, now I'm confused. Like, is Simon just acting on his own? Because, like, I'm like, wait a minute, so Negan wants Daryl back after what happened? Like, what do you think?
I don't know, like, it was weird, because, like, you have Negan who's, like, torturing Daryl in the Sanctuary episode, which is, by the way, one of the most painful episodes to get through of the show. I don't know if you guys agree with that or not. But,
The cell was pretty bad.
The cell, yeah. But, yeah, I don't know. I think it was just Negan just being sarcastic. Like, you know, Negan just says stuff off, like, the top of his head.
Yeah. Let's see. Dan says Rick was so brutally honest in this episode. Oh, well, yeah, when he was talking to Negan, he wouldn't give Negan the satisfaction, like, begging him, and he says Angela is so much better. Epic says I feel Gimple kind of ruined the show, because after 7 and 8, that's when all the merch companies stopped making merch. If Gimple hadn't messed up on 7 and 8, we'd be getting new figures and pops, but no. Yeah, what do you think about Epic's comment, Matt? Like, do you think it's true? Because, like, yeah, what happened to the figures? Like, we don't get any more for Fear. Like, I mean, Fear barely had any merch, but it could get. Fear could use some merch right now.
I assume you're talking about the McFarlane toys, right?
I think so. And the Funko Pops, like, just to kind of like slow down. Funko Pops is doing strong, but the action figures kind of went down.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, because of the lower receptions of season 7 and 8, maybe the companies who made these merchandise, like whether it be posters or action figures, all the above, were probably saying, like, okay, this show's going down, and, like, let's just bounce, let's bail ship.
Yeah, that's probably it. They probably saw the decline in the show and decided to cut their losses.
But with Funkos, yeah, they're still doing Funko Pops.
Honestly, kind of too many, if you ask me. They should be doing the right ones. Like an Alicia Pop, like a current Alicia Pop, and like some current characters. Like, we gotta get a Jerry and a current Maggie. We gotta get a current Maggie.
The fact that the latest, like, or one of the latest Funko Pops was just another variation of Daryl is just like, really?
Oh my goodness. You can, I feel like people use their Daryls as target practice instead of actually keeping them pristine and clean on their shelves.
Yeah, because there's too many Daryls now.
Yeah, he looks the same. Like, just, yeah, he looks the same. Yeah, thanks, Gimple. Dan says Gimple ruined so much, he should apologize to Angela for leaving her with a lot to fix. Also, he says Scott has more time than Holly. Like, what? Yeah, Scott was the first Alexandrian in the comic to die. The first one. In the show, he's like, besides Aaron, he's like the last one. left alive.
Yeah, Gimple is just like, wait, what's his name again? The writer's just like, yeah, it's Scott. Gimple's like, we leave him.
Yeah, it's like, don't touch him.
Don't touch him. I need to be forever embedded into this show with my name.
Exactly. Even if Angela's running it. That's a good. You said it well. That sounded perfect. Chosen One says, why did they give Denise Abraham's death? Yeah, that was a bad death. I didn't really feel anything for TV Denise. Not failed in comparison to our comic version, but also I feel like that death should have went to like Tara or just a different character. Denise, she was a season character. She was only in season 6.
Oh yeah, she wasn't in season 5, was she?
Yeah, the writers, like most characters, they didn't have her in the. They didn't cast her back in season 5, even though, like, personally, if I was writing it, I think I would cast her in season 5 and then continue to have her in season 6. I mean, kind of makes sense, you know, because she's, like, living there.
Yeah, I could see that, yeah.
It's like, the party happens, Rick gets in a fight with Pete, the execution of, the deaths of Reg and P, and even the meeting the group has in Deanna's house was Denise. Did she call in sick for all of them?
Yeah, it makes no sense, and now that you mention that, that's actually very plot holy.
It is a plot hole. It is.
In my opinion, what they should have done for the Abraham death on the show was continue to have Nicholas around, right? Give him a bit of a redemption story, kind of like make us kind of like start to maybe even like the character a little bit, and then boom, dead. Dwight kills him.
Yeah, and then he has a son, you know, Mikey, who actually gets some screen time. Like, that would have worked. Like, take out the dumpster moment.
Yeah.
And keep Nicholas around and, you know, establish his connection with him and his son, and then boom, he gets that death. That would have been a lot better than what they did.
What, just having Denise take it? Because they're probably sitting there like, okay, we just need someone to take this death real quick because we're going to spare Abraham for the lineup death. And then they're like, oh, Denise, yeah, who cares about her? Just give her the death.
And then they're like, wait a minute, we didn't even introduce Denise in season 5. And then they're like, oh, let's just put her in season 6, like completely out of nowhere. The audience won't question it.
Yeah, because I guarantee you, she was only brought in to season 6 to take that death and give Tara that really stupid revenge story throughout season 7 and 8.
Yeah. Your version with Nicholas works. I always just considered it could have been Tara. Like, she was with the governor, and then she dies. She's one of the first casualties of the next war. I don't know. That could work.
I like that, actually.
Either would have worked better than what they did. Nicholas or Tara getting it works better for me than just Denise. Let's see. Okay, Dan says, I actually like that death for Denise, but Abraham was the wrong choice in the comics. I don't know. I think Abraham's death works in the comics.
I don't think Abraham in the comics. I haven't read the comics in a while. Yeah, I think he could have taken the death.
Yeah, Abraham getting it works in the comics. Dan says if Scott had a different name, he would have been dead a long time ago. We know it. Maggie said something similar. LOL.
Yeah, agreed.
Chosen One says, yeah, I read that Robert Kirkman did not plan for Abraham to die until he did. LOL was a sudden change. Yeah, he thought that someone should have died at the hands of the Saviors. That it just being Glenn is like, you know, in issue 100, like, that would take too long. We need, like, a small tease for what's to come, like, before, like, something bigger happens, I guess.
Did you guys know, like, this is another fun fact about the comics, but, did you guys know that after Glenn's death, Rick was originally going to off Negan and the Saviors in 4 issues after and bring Maggie Negan's head?
Yeah, it was kind of reminds me of what they did in Fear with Madison back in season 3. But, yeah, I mean, the criminal's going to wrap up that story quick.
And then Negan was going to be like a 5-issue character, and then he ends up being like one of like the biggest icons of The Walking Dead. It's pretty crazy to think about.
Definitely the biggest villain in the comic, I would say.
Negan for sure. And what's funny is in the TV show, Negan does what happens to him, but like in his original comic death, and he brings Alpha's head to Carol.
Oh yeah, that's cool. It's like a reverse. Like that was his future at one point, but Kirkman changed it, and he's doing it to a different character.
Yeah, I actually like that little subtle. It's like an Easter egg, was what they call it. Like little subtle hints of that.
Yeah. Dan says, yeah, Abraham deserves better. Chosen says, I wonder what Scott's actor thinks about his character. I wonder what he thinks about his character too. He probably is like, what's my character motivation? What's my personality? He's probably looking in the comic and it's like, wait, I'm in like one issue? Like, you know, like that would be funny.
He's probably coming in thinking like, yeah, I'll probably just be in like one episode, get a quick paycheck. And like frickin' what, like 5 seasons later, 4 seasons later, oh, I'm still here.
I gotta give it to the actor for Scott. He is loyal.
Yeah,
like,
even when his wife got killed off, like he stayed.
I'm surprised he didn't leave with that. I mean, yeah, like it's like you kill her off, but you keep me. It's like
I can just imagine.
I know. Dan says he thinks he's the best The Walking Dead has. He's talking about Scott. Like,
it's funny.
Definitely. Epic says, my opinion, Carl's death ruined the entire season 8 for me. Yeah, Epic hates season 8 because of that. The death just ruined the whole season.
I like 8B.
For me, yeah, 8B is a lot better. Even though it didn't adapt to the comics as much as the first half did. It definitely did a lot better job with Jadis and the brutality of the war, because it wasn't there in the first half.
8A, in my opinion, is really bad. Like, think about it for a sec. You have the premiere. It's just a compilation of Rick shooting out windows for an episode.
Rest in peace, those windows.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Most tragic death on the show. And then episode 3, we have Daryl, which is like Daryl's worst episode in my opinion. He kills Morales, and he kills an unarmed like teenager savior.
Yeah, and then like later he crashes a truck into a building with countless women and children, and probably killing several at the hands of walkers. But we love him, right?
Yeah, just because it's Daryl.
Yeah, exactly.
And then in episode 5, that's another episode I don't like. It's just Gabriel and Negan sitting in an RV for a whole episode. And then episode 6 was also really bad in my opinion, because you have Rick, and this is the dumbest move Rick has done in my opinion. He goes back to the scrapyard people by himself, and he's like, oh, please fight for us, please, I'm begging you.
Yeah, and like, that made no sense whatsoever, because, and honestly, we should talk about the first time, the first day of the rest of your life.
Yeah.
But like, Jadis shoots him in the side, Michonne almost dies, Carl almost dies, and they get betrayed, flat out betrayed, and yet Rick decides to go back to them. This is not Rick.
Mm-hmm.
This is not Rick. Rick would not do that.
Jadis shot him too.
Yeah, and for some reason Rick did not need medical attention after that, because like when Shiva came, like Rick was just like, oh, it's time to kill some saviors, like my wound is just gonna heal like Wolverine or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, we know Rick makes mistakes. That's understandable. Trusting the Junkyard group, that's already one strike right there. But trusting them multiple times, even after this episode, like, that isn't Rick.
Yeah, it's like, fool me once, you're the fool me twice, I'm the fool.
Exactly. Let's see, Dan says it definitely took away from it in a big way. The Chosen One says Bob Stuckey in the comics is from Woodbury. Yeah, Bob, in the comics, he was like a really small character who just saved the governor after Michonne tortured him, and then in the show, they made him a completely different character, and, you know, gave him the Dale death.
Bob was great in the show, in my opinion. Big fan of that character.
He took a minute to grow on you, because you were thinking, like, okay, is this character, who is this character, you know? Because you weren't really sure.
Yeah, I will say, though, in the early episodes with Bob, I wasn't a huge fan when they were looking for, like, medical supplies, and he ends up just grabbing booze.
Yeah, that got Zach killed.
But I will say, though, that stare down from Daryl that followed after that scene was freaking amazing. He doesn't even say nothing, just stares at him.
Yeah, he might have been too busy, wetting his pants. But a lot of people would if Daryl was threatening you.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Dan says, yeah, Bob is way better in the show, definitely. And he says, death threats to Josh. I can't believe people like that actually exist. I agree. We get so invested in The Walking Dead, we forget that, hey, it's just actors who are just doing their job. They're the ones who are giving us this entertainment. If you don't like the character, that's fine, but don't attack the actor, you know?
100%. They're just going in, and they're just being paid to read a script and play a part.
Let's see, I agree. Dan also says, yeah, the pig stuff put episode 2 lower for me. Hey, Wasteland's here. He says, hey guys, glad you can make it, Wasteland. Dan says, Gimple messed with people way too much. Let's see, you guys saying hi to each other. Dan says, we don't see Kingdom till 8. Oh, you already read that, I think. Yeah, Oceanside, Negan cared about Carl. He still mentioned him in 816. That's true, but it's still weird that he almost killed him here.
Well, in my opinion, Judith and Negan is the adapted actual, like, comic Carl story.
It is.
But then now that I think about it, yeah, wait a sec. Judith and Negan haven't even had a scene in season 10.
Yeah, like, Negan was supposed to be like a father figure for Judith in season 9, but then when Lydia came, he's like, maybe they're like, oh wait, she needs a father figure too.
But that's, like, it's so random, because, like, you have that moment in 916 that definitely is setting that up in the snowstorm when he saves her and, Dog.
Maybe they'll save it in 10C.
Here's hoping.
They better. Like, Maggie flips out on Negan, and Judith is just like, Maggie, stop, you know?
Speaking of Dog, where the heck's he at?
Yeah, Dog had to, there's probably difficulties with the actor.
Yeah, the actor, he's a busy guy, takes time to get him.
Yeah, he does so much, you know, he's going to charities and helping with the COVID situation, you know, Dog, as actor, man, he's just, what a good boy.
What a legend.
Legend, definitely. Dan says, I mean, they lied about Maggie. I'm surprised Negan actually believed Rick in 810 without any proof, honestly. Wait, 810? They lied about Maggie. Do you know what Dan's talking about?
Read out the comment.
Dan says, I mean, they lied about Maggie. I'm surprised Negan actually believed Rick in 810 without any proof, honestly.
I think that... Sure. I don't remember that. All I remember from 810 was that's when Simon goes berserk and kills the scavengers.
Yeah. Well done, I should say.
Yeah, Simon, you're a G for that one.
Definitely. When Simon says, you do.
Oh, yeah. I honestly low-key wish that Simon... you remember Jed from season 9, right? 9A?
I do remember Jed. Wish he could have been in season 8 or something, so he just doesn't come out of nowhere. But Jed is a first-time character in season 9, only in season 9, and he was like, well, him and Justin, they're kind of like the saviors who want to start things again.
This is what I was thinking: is scrap the Jed character in 9A, Have Simon live into season 9 and just have him play that part.
Maybe, but if we have both Negan, Dwight, and all three Negan, Dwight, Simon survive, then it's like, does the Saviors lose anyone big in the war?
There would have been. Oh, give me 1 sec here, guys. Just gotta mute it a second. Give me 2 seconds here, fellas.
Would it be okay if I read the rest of the chat real quick?
Go for it, Brian.
Thanks. Let's see. Dan says, I want Alicia and Morgan season 6 pop. Definitely. Even the Funko Pops are slowing down. Yeah, Jerry Pop would be amazing. Definitely, Dan. Chosen says, LOL, Daryl should get a new look. Absolutely, Chosen. Haircut and the murder jacket and a shower. That would make Daryl just look perfect. Dan says, Daryl gets way too many pops. Wait a second. He's muddy now. LOL. Yeah, we got like 10 muddy Daryl pops in a row. Dan says Brian's idea is my favorite. Rick's murder jacket and haircut make that his look for season 11. Thanks, Dan. I appreciate that. Yeah, it'll look amazing. Dan also says for once a Daryl pop would actually look different. Yeah, because these look the same since season 4. Epic says, hey Dan, maybe Rick's murder jacket is in his house in Alexandria, hanging in his closet. It probably is Epic. They gotta use it. It's gotta come back. Let's see. Dan says, yeah, exactly, Epic. Angela can make that happen. Imagine that on the poster for season 11. Please make that happen, Angela. Negan in only 5 issues. Glad that changed. Epic says also, in a way, Frank Delane wasn't loyal to the Walking Dead universe either because 4 seasons in and he just wanted out. Yeah, that's true.
The most disrespectful actor to the Walking Dead was Corey Hawkins.
Yes, exactly. I agree 100%. I mean, this guy, like, literally, he's being cast in The Walking Dead. One of the biggest shows. It was back in season 6. One of the biggest shows you can get casted in and get a role in. And he's going to be playing Heath, who, sure, he's not a big character, but one, if he sticks with the show, he could eventually get more screen time, be a main. And not just that, but, like seriously, like, did he really think he was going to be the star in just 1 season? And then he left, and it's just... No, that was not loyal. I'm sorry. If I was Scott Gimple, I would make actors sign like multi-year contracts, or like more than 1 season, like, or also like, and also the contract says like you can't film a different show or movie around this time because you're being casted as this character. Like, I don't know about you, but like, okay, like, I'm sorry, but like. In job interviews, if you don't say everything, if you don't fill out every single one of the requirements, you don't get the job.
Exactly.
And even if you do, you don't get the job a lot of times. Corey Hawkins, if he was not willing to stay on, be a minor character for just a few seasons, and then, like, if he was still around the show, he would have been a main by now. Like, at least by season 8, he would have been a main. I mean, Jadis was a main in season 8. They listed Jadis
as an A-lister, yeah.
Yeah, like, Jadis is not an A-lister. Give me a break, Gimple. But, like, yeah, like, they did that. And it's like, you know, he could have been a main, too.
Yeah, I do not understand what they were doing with that. Also, I'm trying to think here, but, the Heath character, in my opinion, they were definitely building him up in Season 6, too, when they were giving him scenes with Glenn and all that.
Kind of, yeah. I guess to be like a tougher survivor because he's been very sheltered in the apocalypse.
Actually, now that I think about it, they should have just given Heath the frickin' Denise death and been done with the actor.
Yeah, you know, that could have worked. I mean, but instead he's been captured by Jadis, and at most we're gonna see him as a walker in the Rick movies. That's it.
Yep. Not to mention that the actor apparently caused a bunch of issues on set and stuff, and he wasn't pleasant to work with.
Man, like, I'm sorry, but like, was he like high and mighty or something? Like, I don't understand. Like, he that is not talk about. I'm sorry. Like, who approved him being casted as Heath? Oh wait, never mind. I know who did it.
Scotty G.
Scotty G, yes. Have you ever seen Predatory?
Yeah, he just dropped that funny Scotty G Xmas song today.
Oh, he did? I gotta watch that. I've been at work all day. I couldn't check it. But yeah, I love his Scotty G impression with the beard and everything. Just, it's hilarious.
Hey guys, do you know what everyone loves about The Walking Dead? Flashbacks.
Oh my gosh. Yes, that is perfect. That's a great impression. Yeah, like flashbacks and filler characters. And it's like, and characters saying things people don't actually say in real life. Like, you know what it is, and I could have, I should have, and I would have. Like,
Or it has to be.
It has to be. What do you mean? Like, say it has to be me. At least say that. Like,
I know.
when you say it has to be, when you say it has to be, do you mean it has to be this way, or it has to be me doing it? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, that was fun. Dan says Daryl in season 8, no, 8A was the worst. He even killed Morales. Like, that was terrible. LOL. Yeah, they never should have brought back Morales. I said it once, and I'll say it again. Rick was useless in 805 to 808. That's 4 episodes. Come on, Gimple, make All Out War 8 episodes. Yeah, when they had Rick be captured by the Junkyard Group again, it's like, really? That's what you do with your main character in All Out War?
Mm-hmm.
And let's remember that Negan was also in, he was trapped with Gabriel for a few episodes too. From the premiere until, till episode 5 or something? I'm curious.
And there was no Michonne for until episode 1, and she reappeared in 6, which means 2, 3, 4, 5, that character was gone too.
It kind of makes sense, because I know Michonne was filming Black Panther, and Denai Greer was filming Black Panther, and the character Michonne is injured still, kind of, because of that brutal beatdown that the garbage lady gives her this episode.
But, like, I get that, right? But that's what I'm saying is, like, that's 3 A-list characters that are pretty much, like, useless in All Out War for 8A.
I know, like, that's a quarter of a season.
And then for the rest of 8A, we just have what? We have basically stupid Daryl doing all these stupid decisions. Yeah, we get Daryl every episode, but he's literally at his worst.
That is true. We get some of Maggie and Ezekiel and Carol. I think they were more focused in those episodes.
Yeah, there's a lot of, actually, yeah, you mentioned it, there was a lot of Kingdom stuff.
Definitely. Let's see, Dan says Rick is smarter than this. Yeah, I agree. Epic says, oh, I hate Gimple writing. Let's see, Dan says, yeah, he needs to learn from Fear's Ghost Riders. Yeah, Matt, any guess on the Ghost Rider for Fear? I hope they reveal it soon.
I think it's, according to sources from that I've heard, apparently the Ghost Rider is David Alpert.
David Alpert?
Alpert.
Alpert.
He actually co-wrote season 2 of the main Walking Dead show.
Interesting. He wrote parts of season 2.
That's what I heard anyway.
Let me see. Zorro. No, I don't see him yet, but I'll try to look at that later. Let's see. Dan says the stare down from Daryl was amazing. Oh yeah, from to Bob. Judith was awesome in the show. The actress is killing it. She is. Dog, where are you? Yeah, they better have Dog in 10C.
I think he was in a certain Doom, if I'm not mistaken, but I think it was very, very brief.
Yeah, when the Whispers were doing their best impersonation of Johnny, cutting down the door with the axe.
That's right.
Dog just barks a little bit and then just goes off, but he's not even at the door, because when the grenade blows up, we get the deaths of those two randoms. Rest in peace. Like, man, why is it always the randoms that die? At least for season 9 and 10, like... Yeah,
that's another reason why I'm not... actually, I don't know if anyone knew this, but I'm actually not a huge fan of certain Doom, just because the casualties on our side from Beta's Horde was basically non-existent.
Well, I mean, we lost Beatrice. I mean, like...
Who's like a C-lister character at the most.
was a C character at the most. I agree with that. If only they give her some development,
and then
beforehand.
You actually have the death of Beta, but like, it's like, but the fight wasn't even that great either leading up to that moment. Like, you just have him throw a walker at Negan, and then Negan just kills the walker. You have Beta slam his head on the ground for like 5 seconds, and then you just have Daryl come in and finish him off.
Yeah, you gotta give it to Daryl. You know, they always have to give it to Daryl. It wasn't really even a fight. It was like, it wasn't Rick versus Beta. Sorry, it wasn't Negan versus Beta. It was just Daryl kills Beta.
Yeah, and that's the one reason, like, it's the one thing I'll actually hand over to World Beyond, is at least in their finale, they had a great frickin' fight.
Yeah, Felix versus Huck, that is one of the best fights that they've ever done in the Walking Dead franchise.
Hey, I'm just gonna read this. Wait a minute. I thought you gave A Certain Doom a 10 out of 10. But yes, the random deaths are way too much, lol. I gave it a 10 out of 10 at the time because I was all caught up in the hype of the episode. But it's been about 2 months since I've seen it now. I've given it a few rewatches. And I'm starting to, like, see a lot of issues with, more issues with that episode. Another reason why I loved it at the time was just because we were going through some major Walking Dead drought at the time. There was no main show stuff, so just having an episode of the main show again, it just felt good to have it back for that time.
Yeah, exactly, Matt. We were just like dying of thirst at this point.
Yeah. And then we got that one episode, so I'm sitting here like, and the ending of it was phenomenal, so I was more thinking of that, and I'm like, oh yeah, 10 out of 10 episode, masterpiece. I watched it with a few friends, too, at the time as well. We all got in a PlayStation party, we watched it, and then we reviewed it. But yeah, going back on it, the cracks are starting to show in this episode. For me, personally, I know other people love this episode, give it like 9s and 10s, but just for me, I'd give it like a 6 or 7.
Yeah, I'm not sure where I put it now. I think it's like, I would probably put it like an 8. Like,
it's fair.
Because, like, as far as finales, it's a good finale. Way better than Season 3. I think better than Season 5's finale. But, and Season 8's finale, absolutely. Better than Season 8's finale, but
yeah.
It doesn't, it's still not, like, the most amazing episode ever. But it's a good one in Season 10, because Season 10 has just, it was a little bit slow, not bad, but kind of slow, and yeah, that's, okay. Epic says, I'm just glad Dog is still alive. If you notice, they haven't been killing any animals lately. They've been pushing them to the background. Fear confirmed that with Skin Mark. Yeah, if they kill off Skin Mark or Dog, people they're gonna riot again. But this time, you know, like,
there's one more thing that just came to mind about 1016, but it's pretty petty, like, of that episode to have that really rushed fight scene and all that. But then you have Emil from Season 6, Episode 1 of Fear. He's a one-episode character, and that fight is actually good, and the death scene is even better than Beta's, in my opinion.
It is. The fight with him and Morgan, though, was a little weird. Like, Morgan just blocks his axe with his stick with just one hand. Like, that's not how that works. Like, Morgan is super tired. Like, so there were some issues with the fight.
I'll take it over that crap from the Season 10 finale, though, personally.
You can't even call that a fight. It's just an execution.
And that's what's funny, is because people will upload that scene and be like, oh, Negan versus Beta, the final battle. And then you click it, and it's like, what the hell's this?
That's clickbait. That's clickbait, honestly.
Yeah, big time.
Chosen says, I think Simon's death to Negan fit him. Yeah, it was alright. Dan says, what I mean is they told Negan Maggie was dead, so I'm surprised Negan believed Rick about Carl. Oh, yeah, that's true. Because, like, in Service, Rick just says that Maggie's dead to Negan, and he believes it, and then Rick says Carl's dead, and then Negan believes that, I guess.
Yeah.
Dan says, Heath's actors should be glad to be to be on the show, I would have been honored. Me too. And he says Jadis is an A-lister. No, I agree. She was like, oh man, just like she. I mean,
B-lister.
Yeah, I mean, at most, I would say, or like a C plus. I really don't know. Because she was in the second half of season 7, and then she just becomes a main character like that, like just half a season. And like that's too fast. I don't think they've ever done it that fast before.
No, definitely not.
And Dan says Heath was useless in the end. Yeah, that's probably why you. That's probably why you killed him off and swear. In Dan's rewrite.
Dan's rewrites, I'm just gonna say it, but Dan's a better writer than Scott Gimple.
Yeah, I agree. It's just, like, it's really not that, like, the new thing he did in this episode, you saw episode, season 7, episode 11, some of Dan's ideas, like, having Carol not be in the ceiling, that was great, because, yeah, what was Gimple thinking? Like, that Carol's not Catwoman. How did she get up in there with a gun so quietly? And, he also took out Daryl fighting Rick, which I applaud Dan for. And then Dan's final main idea is, well, actually,
I'm just gonna say it, but the best thing he's done, right, with his rewrites, it's getting rid of Morales.
He also got rid of Oceanside in the Junkyard group.
Yes, that too. He trims the fat.
Definitely. There was a lot of fat in season 7 and 8. And in the newest one, when Shiva dies, the fact that it's not the toxic walkers, that it's Ezekiel's people who've turned as walkers. I mean, like, okay, so this was actually my idea. Like, so a year before Dan uploaded, like, I mentioned that I would have done it like that. But I don't know if Dan also came up with that idea or not, but, like I've had that idea too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that is just so poetic and tragic. Ezekiel's own people, throughout the whole episode, chasing him because they're walkers, and Shiva dies protecting Ezekiel at the hands of his own people who are walkers. I mean, that is just brilliant. I thought about that after watching the episode, and I'm like, why didn't they just do this?
Yeah. Plus, in episode 4. Another thing that I thought was really random was they just have this random nerdy savior guy with glasses as the main villain for the whole episode, and it's like, I like, even injured, I feel like Ezekiel could have taken that guy.
He doesn't even look like a savior, like...
Looks like iDubbbz.
He looks like a character that might be in Stranger Things or something, I don't know.
Yeah, like, they couldn't have gotten some, like, intimidating-looking, scary-looking guy for that.
Yeah, and then have Jerry kill them from the back. No, they just had to... They had to use a guy who, looks like he borrows his mom's car. Like,
I know.
He looks like that kind of character. Like, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, plus we have, like, and I'm also thinking, like, I don't even think Negan would enlist someone that looked like that into his, like, soldier ranks.
Yeah, remember what he said with Gabriel? You are creepy as crap. Like, that's what he would say to that guy.
Exactly. Like, wouldn't have even enlisted him.
I don't know. Let's see. I should really continue with this chat. You've done some of the chat, right? I just don't want to repeat something you answered. So, Dan says Magna was a better casting than Heath. At least she's loyal. LOL. The actress for Magna is loyal, but I would say that maybe she wasn't the best actress to be casted. Something, I don't know, Magna comes off kind of weird in the show.
The worst casting, I was thinking that, like, the worst casting of the Walking Dead universe, in my opinion. I think, no, I don't think that's the worst casting. I think the worst casting is Aaliyah Royale from World Beyond.
Aaliyah Royale from World Beyond?
Yeah, the Iris casting. That's the actress's name.
Oh, yeah. Maybe he was meaning for, like, comic characters. like characters that were from the comic translated to the show. Yeah, Iris, Alaya Royale, bad casting for Iris.
Yes.
But she's not in the comic, so I guess like that's its own separate list.
Okay, so you guys. Okay, I get what you're saying. Now I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Dan says Michonne was in Black Panther, but Michonne did almost both and All Out War. That's true. She was in like 2 wars. The actress filming. And you say Daryl had more time than Rick and 8A. I want more Rick at this point because Daryl got on my nerves. Epic says, my opinion, Carl's death made his story feel incomplete. Definitely. At least in the comics, his story is complete, unlike the show. Yeah. Dan asked you this question, and he says, Felix versus Huck, that's more like it.
One of the better fights of, like, the Walking Dead universe in general, like, including the main show and Fear. It's a really good fight.
It is. I don't understand how Felix lost, though.
I guess you could put that on him having that injured foot, partially.
True, but he's got 100 pounds on Huck.
Yeah, I don't know.
So many things. I mean, not bad, just, like, uncertainties. Like, you got one with an injury, but way bigger and stronger, so it's like, it's kind of hard to figure out, you know?
I'm just gonna say, but the best fight scene from The Walking Dead, in my opinion, is the Rick versus Shane in 18 Miles Out.
How did I know you were gonna say that? I just knew you were gonna say that.
It's a freaking phenomenal fight, man.
It is. It's like they took their time with it. But Rick versus, oh my goodness, Rick versus Negan, all of the fights that we've seen Rick versus Negan have been horrible in the show.
Agreed.
We had the one in the house, Rick's house, and then we had the one in the finale with the tree, with the dreaded tree.
Yeah. The fact that we got 3 Rick versus Negan fights too, like, there's the first one.
Sorry, 3, yeah.
It's like, there's like, the first one, it's too dark, you can't see anything that's going on. It's like, in pitch black at night in the house.
Also, Rick used the rock. Rick doesn't know how to use Lucille, like, at all.
Plus,
he had her for 10 seconds.
Think about this. Rick, like, knows how to use the environment to his advantage to kill people, so you think he would have, like, killed Negan there.
Yeah, Negan pushed him out the window, and even though Rick has his gun, he just ran.
He runs away. I'm like, bro, get back in there and fire.
Yeah, your daughter might be in there.
He just runs away, and he's like, oh, crap, plot armor, I can't do nothing about that, bye.
That's so true. And then, Rick versus Negan, round 2, their plot armor was so strong. Fire, a damaged building, and walkers could not kill either of them. Or each other.
Yeah, and at this point, Negan is like the A-lister version of Scott in a way. It's like nothing kills this guy.
Yeah, Negan was untouchable in season 8.
I'd say,
like,
yeah.
And 7. Rosita literally shot him in the face, and Lucille just comes out of nowhere, faster than a bullet, and just blocks the shot.
That's one of the main reasons I don't like that episode, is because of how ridiculous that scene is, where you just see the bullet in the bat, and Negan's like, you ruined my bat! How dare you! And I'm like, really?
Yeah. He also never takes it out, I think.
But it's just like, you expect me to sit there and believe that the shot misses and hits the bat instead?
Yeah, that was not right. Like, it felt like in season 7 they were trying to dumb down the audience, or they thought we were dumb or something. That's not how they should have done it. You know, we were smarter than that.
I remember actually laughing at that scene just because of the, like, stupidity of how that all played out for that scene there. When we cut back from commercial break, you just see the bat has a bullet in it. I'm just like, no way is this possible.
Yeah, they did a lot in season 7. A character pulls a gun, shoots, and then cuts to black commercial.
Plus, you think that Rosita would have had Eugene craft more bullets instead of just one in case the shot missed.
Yeah, or Rosita could have a throwing knife or something.
Just something,
like,
right?
Yeah, like, I mean, geez, like a throwing knife too. Like that would have at least shown that she has some competence.
And it's because of Spencer's death, and I'm like, who cared about this guy?
He was, well, he was, I mean, he was handsome, I guess. That's all Rosita needed, I guess. No, forget that she was a strong, independent woman who had personality. No, she just liked the dude because he was good looking, I guess. I don't know.
Spencer reminds me of Gregory.
Kind of. But, not as old.
Yeah, just without being old. Like, he's almost like a younger version of Gregory.
Yeah.
Like, if Spencer was a leader, I feel like he would be Gregory in the future. He'd be like Gregory.
That is a great comparison. That is. It definitely seems like it. Dan says, I would change my rating to 10/16 to 9/10. Also 9 out of 10 for me, but still a solid rating. Yeah, 8 or 9 is still good. This was the season 10 finale was a good episode. Chosen says, I never really liked the episodes all that much. Scenes were rushed and the action didn't do it for me. Season 10 episode 16. Dan says the season 10 finale should have been extended. I agree. It felt so short because it did feel super rushed. Make it a 90-minute finale. Whisper episode. Negan versus Beta. A better title is The Death of Beta. That's it. Epic says, hey Brian, you should do a collab with Dance Reviews next, bro. I'll think about it, Epic. There's a bit of an issue though. I don't really have the right streaming thing to host both our voices, so I need to figure that out.
Why we're hosting it on my channel today.
Exactly, yeah. So if you guys don't know, we're doing it on Matt's channel because he can stream it with our voices with the PlayStation, but I don't have a PlayStation, and I tried to use some softwares to record our voices, but they haven't been working. Let's see. Chosen says season 10C thoughts. I think that we're gonna get some Maggie versus Negan, or like tension. I think we're gonna get some Commonwealth interrogations, and I think we're gonna get here's Negan. We're also gonna get Robert Patrick's character,
which his name's Maze.
Oh, his name is Maze?
Yeah, they confirmed it in a interview or something. His name's Maze.
Oh, okay.
And apparently he's going to be like the devil or something, they're calling him.
The devil. I don't know, it seems a little off. But I'll see it before I judge it. It's just, I don't know. I heard that he was going to be somewhat religious, like Father Gabriel, so I guess I heard wrong.
Yeah, 'cause apparently the episode he appears in, Father Gabriel gets like really drunk and leaves the community or something, and then while he's like really drunk, he runs into Maze.
Yeah, I remember on Saturday you said, what if he gives Gabriel the Tower of Death?
Which is something I really think might happen, personally, just because they're setting it up, kinda. But if they do that, then I feel like it's mad disrespectful to Beta's character.
It is. I mean, at least they give Beta more screen time in the show than his comic version, but still, the fact that we never got to see the Tower of Death, which really solidified Beta as a threat.
It's his iconic scene.
I know, that's like taking Negan's...
The lineup away.
Yeah, the lineup. That's like taking it out.
We're taking the pipes out for Alpha.
Yeah. Well, they took out the governor chopping off Rick's hand, but...
They left the decapitation in, though, which is his main kill, I believe.
That's true. That was one of the main ones besides the Rick hand thing, so they did half of it, I guess.
Yeah. I guess technically he kind of did it with Merle when he bit his fingers off, but still.
Yeah, well, Merle already lost his hand.
True. Yeah, so, might as well take the other one.
Yeah, that would be terrible. A character with no hands, just blades on in The Walking Dead. A character with just bladed hands.
He'd look like Wolverine.
Yeah. And then people will question, they'll be like, how does he go to the bathroom?
How does he do anything?
Exactly. Dan says, I took out Daryl versus Rick because it was useless, LOL.
Yeah, agreed.
Brian had the idea on the stream last week on the Shiva death, and I just thought to myself, oh no, Brian guessed it right. Just shut up, Dan, and let them watch it. LOL. Yeah, I could have sworn, like, I mentioned that idea about Ezekiel's people killing Shiva, like, as their walkers. Because that makes so much more sense than skinny, bony walkers doing it. Because, like, that's a tiger, you know? If the walkers are fresh, then they're stronger, you know?
Or maybe it didn't even need to be walkers. I mean, imagine if the Saviors did it.
That's true. That could have worked.
Here's what I was thinking. Like, you have the Saviors going after Ezekiel when he's making his escape with Jerry and Carol. And then maybe Shiva comes in. There's like 15 or to 10 Saviors. Kills about like 3 or 4 of them. And then just gets like gunned down in front of Ezekiel as they're on the move.
That could work. But I do like the idea of his people being the ones to take Shiva away. Like, he failed as a leader.
That is poetic, like, actually, yeah.
Yeah, it is poetic. But no, Scott Gimple decided to introduce some barrels that out of nowhere, and let's have toxic walkers.
Yeah, he's like, looks like we're gonna need some toxic radioactive walkers.
and then Josh will be like, well, Gimple, why can't we just have Ezekiel's people? You established that they're walkers in the episode, and they're chasing Ezekiel. Why introduce another group of walkers out of nowhere with this toxic barrel thing? And then he will be like, to subvert expectations, of course.
Yeah. To subvert the viewers, Joshy Josh.
That's true. Let's see, you guys are back. DeRosa says, I like this whole collab, but we gotta find a way to improve Brian's audio. Yeah, I was gonna ask that. Does my audio sound okay, guys? Because Matt's doing this on his phone. Like, Matt, aren't you,
Yeah, I've got you right up to the microphone right now.
Okay. How does, you do this the same way with DeRosa, right? So...
This is how we did the Nero casting, yeah.
Okay. So I don't understand why... I wish there was a way to improve the audio now.
Give me a sec, Brian. I'm gonna see if how you sound. I'm gonna go to the stream real quick.
Let's see. Dan says, completely agree, Matt. Iris is the worst casting ever. As far as like a character that's not in the comic, she probably is one of the worst. The Chosen One says Felix loses the hug, Rosita loses to Dante. Yeah, I mean, Rosita won against Dante, though, so... yeah, Rosita won, though, against Dante. But yeah, Felix lost the hug. I don't know, that's weird. Dan says, Hope's crying scenes are cringe for me, though, but she's one of my favorites, so I won't be so hard on it. At least it's not as bad as Iris's blank face when she should be crying. Like, that's so disturbing, Hope is just crying her eyes out, and Iris just has a blank face. That's just creepy.
It's called bad acting.
Yeah. And yet they hyped it. They're like, yes, like, this is amazing casting. Like,
yes.
That we did.
Gimple's like, yes, this acting is incredible.
It's like, she is not having any expression. That is perfect acting. And it's like, Gimple, she's like a robot. You know, it's like, I don't know, maybe Gimple's a fan of robots.
I don't know. Yeah, anything wouldn't shock me with Gimple.
Yeah. Where did I go on? DeRosa says, bro, I could play as Iris and I would be more believable. Oh, wow. Iris, being played by
I just pictured DeRosa with, like, this curly-haired wig on. Like, just hanging out with the World Beyond characters.
Yeah. Epic says, I hated Negan in season 7 and 8 because of how badly written he was. Like, geez, Gimple, you gotta learn how to write. Dan says, Rick runs away, but Judith could be in the house. You know what? I give up, Negan. Just keep Judith. Like, what? Yeah, imagine if Negan did keep Judith. He honestly could. Judith doesn't have any parental guardians at this point.
Nope.
I mean, no, just her mom and dad died before and when she was born, and then her adopted parents unfortunately left her. Different circumstances, but technically they still left her. And then the only person who should be protecting her is doing his own things. So, yeah, there is that. We need more Daryl and Judith. Like, they really got to show, like, I hope they show that in season 10 or something that, like, yeah, this is getting to Judith. Like, think about it. Like, look at Hope and Iris after, well, look at Hope, honestly. Not Iris, but, like, look how much their dad leaving them has affected them. Okay, Rick left when Judith was 3 years old. I mean, she needs to have, like, issues, abandonment issues. That Hope has them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love Judith, but don't show she's a superhero, like, nothing affects her. Like, she's just fine, she's a great shot, she won't cry, she won't break down. Like, no, this is a little girl, Make her human, like, she's not a bad character. No, by no means. It's just that they need to really show that, like, yeah, this is affecting Judith.
Yeah. Actually, just hit me that we haven't finished talking about the episode yet.
We haven't. We really haven't. We talked about so much on Saturday. I mean, what else is there? Like, okay, we don't like Sasha's death. Sasha's death comes out of nowhere, and it's poorly done. And what else? Oh yeah, do you remember the part where I said after Sasha comes out, Carl starts shooting some saviors, and then Rosita and them start shooting, and it looks like Rosita gets shot by Tara.
It looks like it. And then you just have Daryl just spewing out this random... It's like Daryl's talking, but it just sounds like he's like... Da, 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 da.
Yeah, it's like some weird Fortnite or Call of Duty gun Daryl is using. I'm like, what is that gun? It's like a triangle barrel.
Actually, it's funny because that gun's in Grand Theft Auto. It's like straightly ripped out of it. And then you just never see it again after that one scene.
I think he uses it. Okay, so like then Rick and them... they're on their knees and stuff, and right before that, we have Scott and Carl shooting together. They're like back to back in between the.
Wait, Scott?
Yeah, Scott is with Carl.
Wow.
And then you see him run. You see him run in a different direction, and Carl's still there. And then next time we see Carl, he was captured.
Which means that's basically Scott's fault that Carl gets captured. Way to go, Scott.
I know. He left a 14-year-old behind, in the battle. No wonder he doesn't have a son anymore.
Yeah. My theory is that either his son was killed during the events of 9/14, or his son is basically just the next variation of that Mikey character.
I think the second one. In Scars, we see the kid go back to Alexandria.
Right. Yeah, so he's just a completely off-screen no-name.
Gosh, I mean...
Isn't his son's name Marcus?
Yeah, it's Marcus. He's adopted from the sanctuary.
Right.
Because I guess every kid lost their parents thanks to the war, but...
And to Daryl.
Yeah. Yeah, because of what Daryl did, Fat Joey... No, what he did to Fat Joey, Skinny Joey was just Joey. I mean, just... Or, yeah,
I'm just sitting there like, wait, who's Skinny Joey exactly?
Oh, he's the savior that Carol uses as a human shield in, like, Just Some Guy at the camp outpost. So that was
Gotcha.
Skinny Joey. Let me see if I can try and read the rest of this chat real quick.
Dan just posted some funny. Marcus is the extra background character in case Scott gets killed off.
Like, that's ever gonna happen.
Could you imagine they kill Scott off and then they give Marcus like this revenge story, like, I gotta go after the people that killed my dad.
It's like, people would be like, wait, you have a... It's like, wait, Scott was your dad?
Yeah, they're like, wait, who are you?
Yeah, exactly.
We're just like Negan, we're like, holy crap, you are freaky as shit.
Yeah. I don't even know how old the character would be.
Marcus?
Like, yeah, I mean, just probably have been around Henry's age.
He'd probably be 10 or 11 now, because he was younger during Scars, which is, I think, about a year after Rick disappeared.
Yeah, a little less than a year, because Michonne was still pregnant.
Right, so that would have been about, like, it would have been 8 or 7 months after Rick's disappearance.
Exactly. But then RJ is 6 years old, so he would be like a preteen, or at most 13, actually, probably.
It's like, where the heck is this guy?
Marcus, either they didn't have the budget to bring him back, they completely forgot about him, or, yeah, it's probably one of those things. Let's see, Dan says Rick versus Shane would have been enjoyable if Beth didn't keep ruining it. It frustrated me so much. Yeah, let's have the best fight in The Walking Dead, Rick versus Shane, 2 best friends, and then let's cut to Beth, who at this point wasn't even a great character, or much of a character at this point.
And Randall, too, was kind of there.
Yeah, but they couldn't show him. Oh, yeah, he was in the episode, yeah, sorry. He was also in the episode, but even he knew to stay back from the fighting. Like I'm a C- character. Like these guys are A-listers.
He's like, best not to mess with the A-listers. I should probably stay away.
Exactly. DeRosa says no. The way Rick used the bat was just horrible writing. Yeah, Rick used the wrong end of Lucille to bash Negan's head in.
I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
I know. It's like, Rick, have you never murdered someone with a bat before?
I'm like, no, Rick. Just like how you used with the red machete for Gareth, you used the other end.
Also, it's like, Rick, you saw how Negan used him against 2 of your best friends, okay? Like, at least one of them. And it's like, you know how to use it. You saw it happen. Like,
oh, man.
I can't believe I made
Gimple
a joke.
writing.
Man, there's so much on the chat. Are you okay? Would you be okay if we extended this a little bit more?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. I just need to get caught up. Epic says I hated Negan in 7 and 8 because of how badly he was. Like, geez, Gimple, you gotta learn how to write. Yeah, Negan, besides the premiere, Negan really did not feel like the antagonist in 7 and 8. It really felt like it was Simon. They gave Simon so much of Negan's screen time that he got in the comics, kind of like how they do with Daryl and Rick. They use this character who wasn't even in the comic and give them more than the character who's supposed to get it.
Right.
Dan says Rick runs away, but oh wait, I already read that. Epic says Gimple writing is like toddler writing. It's just so bad. Dan says Gimple is the grown-up version of Ian and Andrew. Oh yeah, Ian and Andrew were bad.
Ian and Andrew morphed into one.
Yeah, we were probably gonna get the musical episode in Fear if it wasn't for the Ghost Rider. We probably would have had the musical episode.
Here's my theory: the musical episode will still happen, not in Fear, but in that comedy show they confirmed a couple days ago.
Yeah. And
I'm just gonna say it: I think that comedy show is the stupidest idea I've ever heard from The Walking Dead.
Yeah, I don't understand why AMC cannot just go to talented fans like you, me, Dan, and just be like, these guys write some amazing stories. Maybe we should focus our series on, maybe we should do like a season on their stories. Pay them, get the rights to do a season or something. I'm just saying that would be a dream come true.
It would. Not to mention that The Walking Dead don't need any more spin-offs at the moment. We got enough as it is right now.
Exactly. They can't do more than 3 shows at once, and not only that, do they want more than 52 episodes a year? Because that's not possible. No one.
And the budget will be drained from all these shows, and then the main show's going to get hurt by it in the final season.
It is. Epic says, yeah, I agree. I wish AMC would just fire those 3. They're terrible writers. Dan says, also, guys, are you both ready to see the attack on Alexandria in 7/12? Of the rewrites, any death predictions? Just curious. Yeah, Dan. So, Matt, so Rick and Michonne so Dan confirmed they're going to bury someone. And it's going to be Scott. I just know it's going to be Scott.
Yes.
Rick and Michonne, they're going to be so broken. Carl is going to live, but they're going to lose Scott. And that's going to be worse than losing Alexandria.
Yes, Scott's gonna die, and they're gonna bury him, and they're gonna be like, Scott, man, you were the best of us. You were the best character, and we don't know how we'll move on without you.
And then the next scene shows just Rick and Michonne driving away, or maybe just stopping, looking at the sunset together, and being like, Michonne might be like, should we get back to Hilltop? And Rick will be like, just give me a second. Just looking at the sunset.
And then it looms back down. This dark, creepy music starts playing. It looms back to Scott's grave, and then you see a hand pop out of the grave, and then and then you have Scott come out, and he's like, "Nothing kills me." And then the episode ends.
Oh my gosh. He's unkillable, even in Dan's rewrites. Okay, Dan says the music in the Pike scene was fantastic, A+. It was. The only problem with the Pikes is they killed off the wrong characters, and they did 10 deaths. They should have done 12.
Yeah, it felt cheap too, because they put the 2 highwaymen on the Pikes, and I'm like, okay, I don't really care about them. They were just introduced last episode.
Yeah, they were like D+ or C- characters.
Mm-hmm. And then you have the douchebag teenagers on the Pikes, and I'm like, who cared about them anyway?
I mean, some people care about the girl with the glasses, you know. I mean, some people, but
they were all like D-listers, C-listers, and they were basically like really bad to Henry too. So like, I didn't have sympathy for them, to be honest.
Yeah, they should have went with my prediction or what I wanted to see. They should have went with Luke, you know, from Magnus Group.
Yeah.
Kelly from Magnus Group. Because that would have hit Connie hard.
Instead of DJ, I would have liked to have seen Alden on the Pikes instead.
I actually do like how it was Enid. I was surprised by that, I will admit. So, like, even though the Pikes, you're supposed to get rid of useless characters, it's also still supposed to be shocking. Like, whoa, I did not think they were going to kill this character. So, Enid's, I'm mixed on.
I think Enid's is fine, because what else could you really do with the character?
I mean, you can build her up as the show's version of Alicia, but that's impossible. Like, you know what I mean? But I don't know. Also, her relationship with Alden, that was weird. Yeah.
Personally, I'd rather have seen Alden on the Pikes, because in Season 10, Alden really don't do nothing, and, yeah, I don't know what they're doing with him.
They should have given the tower death. He gets reckless after Enid, boom, gets the tower death at the beginning of the war.
Yeah, I like that. And that's what I thought they were doing at first in 10-15. When he was on the road with Aaron, I thought he would have gone off after Beta by himself or something and got himself killed.
That's what they should have done, honestly.
Then nope.
Yep. I mean, nope. The Chosen says the episode summary of One More says Aaron and Gabriel go on a supply run, assuming Alexandria does not have food anymore. Yeah, that's true. May says that he uses the Bible as... Oh, May says he uses the Bible as toilet paper. Oh, wow. I'm going to hate his character then. I'm sorry, but, like, there's some things you don't do. That's just insult. Like, I'm not saying, like... I'm just saying, like, I mean, I am religious, but, like, doing that's just going too far.
I think Maze is, yeah, I remember them saying that, like, Maze is gonna be, like, a sacrilegious or something.
Why, though? Like, listen, we don't need, like, with The Walking Dead, every character doesn't need to be religious, Christian. That's fine, you know? Like, it's not a big deal, but, like, making a character who's, like, sadist, like, that's just, I don't know, I don't want to see that. Seems kind of, like, too far.
I also think, like, they're doing this with the Maze character just because they're gonna have him, be, like, the ultimate, like, enemy for Gabriel.
Maybe, but then again, why would Gabriel get drunk?
I don't know why. On a supply run to get food, like, I'm gonna be pissed if they go on a supply run together, and then, like, Gabriel, like, secretly drinks or something during the supply run, and then causes a bunch of trouble and brings all this down because of some stupid things he does or something like that.
Yeah, that would be a downgrade for his character. Also, I'm no expert, but... Oh, wow, we've been going an hour and 40 minutes now. Yeah, we can still keep going if you want.
Yeah, we can still go for a little bit. I mean, the chat seems active. We're still going on about stuff.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Okay, first off, yeah, Alexandria should still have food. Like, they should still have animals and crops, and a supply run. What are they gonna get? It's been almost 11 years in the apocalypse. They've picked everything clean. Please don't tell me they're gonna go to some random town out of nowhere that they've never been to before, close by, and find a huge stockpile of food that's either expired or not expired, and then we're just supposed to assume that everything's fine. Please don't do that. You know, that would just be terrible.
It would be bad. And plus, where does Gabriel get alcohol from, too?
I don't know. Like, that's what I kind of had nitpicks with throughout, season 6. And so, like, these characters are just finding these towns, and it's like, haven't they been to these towns before? I mean, they've been living a while in Alexandria, and it's just, they find new locations, and it's like, how do you find new locations?
Exactly.
Like, in the area. Chosen says, kind of like Abel from Telltale Season 4, where he uses it to smoke. Yeah, I mean, I can understand characters not being religious, but just using a Bible pages for either to make cigarettes or as toilet paper, that's just adding insult. Like, I feel like you're just targeting the Christian demographic. You know what I mean? At least for me, that's how I feel in that. Dan says Robert Patrick is a fantastic actor, so they better use him to his full potential.
Oh yeah.
He might just be he might be a one episode character. Do you think they could do that like they did with Emil?
Me personally, I do think he will be a one episode character, just because Robert Patrick is a pretty frickin' big name for The Walking Dead. Like, it's a big actor. They're probably gonna have to pay him a lot too if he sticks around, right?
Oh yeah. It's like the episode he appears in, like it's just gonna be Aaron, him, and Gabriel, like just those three characters.
That's why I think they're doing that, is because you know how much it probably costs to get him in that episode. So they didn't want to bring too many other actors in, so they're like, screw it, we'll just do like an Aaron and Gabriel bottle episode and just have this Maze character be the main villain for the episode.
Yeah, that sounds likely. Dan says Rosita needs more scenes, though. Yeah, Rosita has been underused in Season 10.
Especially in the finale, just, like, not there.
Yeah, just, like... I understand dealing with Coco, but, like, she literally just had one cameo at the end.
That's it.
And we were all thinking, like, oh, is Rosita gonna die because she's in a new show? And it's like, nope. Chosen says, yeah, Rosita beat Dante, but in reality, she would lose due to her size. Yeah, Rosita, winning against Dante, that did come off as a little bit weird.
Is Robert Patrick the guy with Maggie under the masked outfit? Is it him or is it the stranger? No, Robert Patrick's this guy. You could see him in the 10C trailer, and he's like this older dude with like scratches on his neck and shit.
Yeah, he's wearing dirty clothes, a dirty hoodie or something, and the guy with Maggie is like, I think
Elijah,
yeah, and he seems clean with a mask, and so yeah. Also, I don't think Maggie would bring someone that sounds like that with her, like company-wise. He sounds like he would be a horrible guy to hang out with.
Plus, I'm pretty sure Herschel was religious too, so yeah.
That's true. Dan says, Iris, a robot. Exactly, Brian. Judith has Uncle Daryl talk about forced writing because all the actors want to leave, LOL. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do Daryl leaving for his own show. Judith is going to be like, well, everyone's leaving me.
Yeah.
And not just because they died. Not because they died. They're choosing to leave her.
I was just going to say, but, Iris being compared to a robot is an insult to robots.
It is. Robots are cool. Some of them are cool. Iris is not cool.
Nope.
Yep.
I will say, though, that there is one character from World Beyond that I am starting to like. You know that guy, Percy, who gets shot by Huck and then Elton finds him? I'm actually starting to like that character.
Yeah.
He's decent.
I think Percy's alright. Need more time with him, because, like, he was in 2 episodes, and then he disappeared, and then he was unconscious for most of another episode, and then injured, so not a whole lot with Percy.
Basically, in episode 9, you see him, but he's just a hallucination.
Yeah. I mean, he's a hallucination. That was so confusing. I'm like, okay, Percy, stop being a hallucination. Start being real.
I know, I was like that, too. I'm like, okay, stop being a hallucination, get up, and help Elton get rid of these walkers.
Yeah. It's like, Percy, stop being a wimp. Get up from that gunshot wound. Look at Daryl. Okay, Daryl got shot in the shoulder, and that did nothing to him.
Frickin', Rick was, like, impaled on a ginormous piece of, like, concrete and, like, metal, and he was able to stay awake longer.
Yeah, he was unconscious for, like, 10 seconds, and then woke up again, and then pulled himself up, and, yeah.
He was able to walk on his own and get to the bridge by himself, too.
That is true. That is true.
And then you got Percy that takes like a shoulder shot, and he's like, I can't do anything. I'm out of service, guys.
Yeah, for a whole episode.
Yeah.
Epic says, at least Judith has dog. Yeah, that's true. Dan says, dog has left town. It feels like lately, LOL. Yeah, they gotta use dog more. If Daryl leaves, they gotta use dog.
Mm-hmm. Well, like we said earlier in the stream, Dog's actor is a very busy man.
You said man. Sorry. Chosen says, oh yeah, I see I accidentally said Rosita loses to Dante. Mix the names. Oh, okay. Dan says, Tara shoots Rosita. Big reveal, Tara is the new villain. And he says Marcus is the extra background character if Scott is killed off. And, yeah, like, this random kid comes out of nowhere. It's like, what? Yeah, I mean, like, I'm thinking that with Herschel. Imagine, like, Herschel comes out of nowhere, and it's like, my name is Herschel. Imagine we get this in the show. My name is Herschel Ree. You killed my father. Prepare to die. He says that to Negan, and Negan is like, well, what should Negan say? Should he say something like, holy crap, you are cute, Squirt? Like, you know, what should he say?
He would say something like that, yeah.
And, like, he would probably say, I would be crapping my pants if you weren't so adorable, like, or something like that. Like, I could see that happening.
Well, we're on that topic. I was gonna think, do you think that Herschel Jr. will attempt to assassinate Negan in the future?
All I will say is they cannot do what they did in the comic with Herschel. That was a big disappointment.
You mean when he just became this loudmouth jerk carrying walkers around in the finale of the
new Spencer or Sebastian? Just no. I think that they should establish that Herschel did not have an easy life. Whatever community was with Maggie, established that not having a father has affected him. Like, because even in the comic, they established that Maggie was not really a good mother. She was always working, and whenever she was with Herschel, she would always spoil him, and that led to him being like this. So they should change it a little bit in the show where Herschel, you know, just wants to make his mother proud of him or something like that, and maybe he believes that killing Negan is the way to do it.
That Sebastian character, by the way, you know what would be the best casting for Sebastian is the dude who played Joffrey from Game of Thrones.
That's true, but I think I heard the actor stopped after season 4 of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, because apparently he got too much hate or something. He couldn't put up with it.
Yeah. I mean, it was time for his character to die, too, because they had to follow the books.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, he's too famous.
I guess nowadays, yeah.
Yeah, he would be a crazy expensive.
He'd be a good Sebastian, though.
He would. Epic says Carl deaths shouldn't have happened. Like, what was Gimple thinking? Like I said, Gimple was too cocky. Everyone wanted Carl to stay, but Gimple was like, nope, I'm killing him off. Deal with it. Yeah. For Carl, like Sasha, Carl's death comes out of nowhere because they write it in like with only half a season. Like in the first half of season 7, I don't think they established Sasha's death at all. Then the second half, it's clear they're establishing it. And the same thing with Carl. In the first half of season 8, it's clear they're establishing it, whereas in the second half of season 7, you don't see him killing off Carl. It, like, you know what I mean? Like, what I'm saying is, they're setting up their deaths with just 8 episodes to go. If even that.
Yeah.
Dan says Carl belongs on the show in season 9. It's not a question. Musical episode. Yeah, Dan doesn't like that idea. Epic says I made a whole vid giving my thoughts on the comedy show, and I feel it's gonna flop hard. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like about Abraham, Matt. I thought it might be like an Abraham backstory.
I could see that, yeah. Either Abraham or Negan. It'll be one of the two. But I don't think Negan needs his own show, because he's already a major character on the main show.
Yeah, not just that, they're already doing Here's Negan, so...
Exactly.
I don't think it's going to work. And for the comedy, I thought it was going to be Abraham, but if there's a musical episode, no way it's going to involve Abraham. I just don't see it.
If it's a comedy with Abraham, like if it's a buddy comedy with Abraham and Eugene, I might actually be interested.
Kind of, but it's just weird. I don't know what they can do with Abraham and Eugene that we didn't get to see, because, like, when we meet them in season 4, it's pretty clear that Eugene has done nothing for them up to that point in the story. And, like, they didn't have that much of a connection. Like, it was just business, I guess, for them. And then, so, like, in the prequel, how can you have them be friends when the first time we see them, it's just business? Like, that's what I don't really understand.
Right.
Dan says we have enough spin-off series. That's too much for people like me to review. Dan says the Highwaymen feel like fear characters when the last time you guys saw a movie. Seriously is right. Dan says Alden on the Pikes is needed. He doesn't do anything. Enid makes more sense than anyone else on the Pikes, in my opinion. Okay, so Dan thinks Enid makes sense because, like, there wasn't much to do with her after Carl.
Agreed.
Chosen says Enid's was the saddest one for me, while Henry's was the most shocking. I think so too. I really thought they were going to kill off Ezekiel. Ezekiel was, I don't know. I mean, I personally would have killed off Ezekiel over Henry. I don't know. What would you have done, Matt? Do you think kill Henry and keep Ezekiel, or the vice versa?
Here's my super, like, shocking Pike moment, right? Imagine you have Tara, you have Enid, and then you have, like, other people on the Pikes, like we mentioned earlier. But imagine this as, like, the final, like, 2 Pikes. This would shock the shit out of people. But imagine this. Imagine Henry and Ezekiel.
I mean, I'm not... I prefer one of them on it, but that would have been shocking too, I'll admit. But then it would have been like, that's kind of forced, like, that Alpha picked these random people, and just so happens that 2 of them were people that Carol cared about, you know what I mean?
Well, I think Henry was actually targeted, like, he wasn't a random person she picked. Like, Henry was targeted for the Pikes.
Yeah, that's true. Man, I gotta go just faster. Epic says the reason they killed Enid is because Carl was gone. If Carl was still alive, Enid wouldn't have died. Dan says Maze should get killed by Gabriel at this point. Then, how dare you talk to Gabriel like that? He's one of my only favorites left. Yeah, how crazy is that, Matt? That in the show, Father Gabriel is like one of the our favorites left, like characters left, because like we got no more Glenn, we got no more Rick, no more Michonne, no more just a whole bunch of characters. So,
and Gabriel started off as like one of the most hated characters in the fan base.
I know. Gabriel has had one of the most the best redemption arcs for a character.
Better than Negan's, personally, I'd say.
Pretty good. Like Negan, Eugene, and Gabriel, they're like top 3, I think.
Yeah.
Tara's maybe like 4.
What do you think of Merle's?
I don't know. Maybe 5th. I'm not like crazy about Merle.
Right.
Dan says a supply run 11 years later. Good luck, guys. Yeah, like, what are you going to find besides just nasty things left on a supply run? Or just nothing. Spyro, that's actually Epic. But it's Epic's second channel.
Gotcha.
Hey, Brian, do you think Strand should die in Fear the Walking Dead, or should he live to the end? Strand should die.
Kill him off, yeah.
We need a big death. Not Alicia, not Daniel. We need a big death in Season 6, since we didn't get one in Season 5, and Strand, I think, is the perfect choice.
Because we all know Alicia, Daniel, Morgan, and Dwight are all going to be fine.
Yeah. Morgan and Dwight, they're main show characters, so they gotta survive. Alicia is, like, 99% the reason why people watch Fear the Walking Dead. And Daniel hasn't been... We don't even know if Daniel... Ruben Blades can stay, how long he stays on the show, because sometimes he stays and goes, stays and goes.
Well, that was clear in this frickin' first half, considering he's in like 10 minutes of the first half altogether.
Yeah, Daniel has been underused this first half.
It's such a tragic like thing with the character, because it's like, he's awesome in seasons 1, 2, and 3, and then, well, he's okay in season 2. But, like, and then season 4, not around. Season 5, ruined by bad writing. Season 6, he's more like his old self, faking amnesia, trying to trick the pioneers. But he's just not around.
Yeah, such a missed opportunity. You have this John Wick kind of character.
Ex-soldier guy, right?
Yeah, he was, like, one of the top back in his country, you know? And just the fact that, you know, they treat him like he's just this old man, this minor character who's like, I don't know, it's disappointing.
They treat him like an old fart.
Yeah, it's like, that's ridiculous. Like, I mean, yeah, it is. Hopefully they use him more in the second half.
Agreed.
Spyro says, is Robert Patrick the guy with Maggie under the mask? No, Epic. This is a random character that Gabriel will at some point meet in 10 City. Chosen says, I heard something about Maze being hallucination or something due to drunkenness, and he is Gabriel dealing with his religion. I didn't think about that. Yeah, it could be that Father Gabriel is maybe like losing it. They don't have a home anymore. He gets drunk, and maybe this guy Maze is somebody he knew from his Congress. Not congressman, from his church.
Actually, me and Wasteland had a theory like that. We talked about that a while back, that he could have been, a member of his church that died.
Yeah, maybe this guy's Mace was, like, one of the parents that went to his church, and just Father Gabriel is just having this, like, split personality or something thing going on. Or, like, schizophrenia, or just something like that.
Right.
Dan says, hopefully these bottle episodes aren't boring, though, like Season 7. Let's hope Angela does these episodes right. Spyro says, hey, Matt, when are you gonna stream Spyro again, bro?
Should be soon, Epic. Should be soon. I just gotta deal with survival of the fittest writing and all that, and filming. So, I mean, it should be soon.
Okay, yeah, and also, guys, if you didn't know, me and Matt, we're not going to do this every week. It's going to be every once in a while when we both have time, and while Matt is doing his streams, I will do mine, so we'll still do our own streams, but we're also still collab.
I'd say once every couple of, like, I don't know, like maybe once every month or two would be decent.
Yeah, that sounds perfect, man. Because honestly, yeah, I agree. Doing it every week's just not gonna work. I do have work, but also I really gotta write. I gotta finish writing season 2 of Extinction. I'm really excited to get that out in the spring. I got so many characters. maybe a relationship or two. Just
honestly, as soon as I'm done filming Survival of the Fittest Season 3, I'm going to be binging Extinction.
Oh, okay. Right. I remember you watched the premiere, right?
Yeah, it was a great premiere. All I remember at the end there is the main character's father was killed off.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I killed off Benjamin's dad, Terry, in the very first episode.
Right. That actually shocked me too.
Yeah. This is a coming of age story. You know, like his dad. You know, I gave that talk with him and his dad because, like, you know, he has to grow up. You know, he has to grow up fast. Like, that's kind of what I'm doing in season 1.
Right. Yeah, I am going to take time once I have the chance, when I'm not filming and writing. I'll sit down and give your show a binge watch.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
No worries, man.
I definitely want to know your thoughts on each episode and how I'm writing the characters, and that'd be great. Thank you. So Dan says Percy is still mad for me, honestly. Yeah, he's not bad. He's not Iris level, but he needs some more. He needs some more time because he's really only been in like 2 episodes. Like, at least been relevant for 2 episodes.
Right.
Spyro says also Merry Christmas to you all. It's this week. Yeah, guys, Merry Christmas. Hope you guys enjoy your times with your families, and yeah, it's crazy. Just 4 more days until Christmas.
Yes, yeah. I'm actually very excited for that, and to just be done with 2020 and move on from all this.
Amen to that. This has been a terrible year.
Yeah, big time.
Chosen says 24th is my birthday. That's awesome, Chosen. Happy early birthday.
Happy birthday, bro.
How old are you going to be, Chosen? Dan says, and Christmas, well, it's super close. Spyro says, hey guys, I'll be doing a Christmas haul. Yeah.
Cool,
I will not be doing a Christmas haul. Mostly what I get is clothes. But yeah, things are tough right now. We my family, we try not to spend, you know, a lot. Just because it's Christmas, we only buy if we, like, you know, need it.
Right.
Let's see, my grandma's in the day after. See me the chores. Okay, you guys are talking about Christmas. Chosen says, I feel like Herschel shouldn't be as smart as Judith. Judith is too unbelievable for me. Yeah, that's kind of true. Matt, Chosen says that Judith is kind of unbelievable sometimes. So when she uses the cold python and when she knows Spanish, she's like very smart for a 10-year-old girl. Sometimes it comes off a little bit too much, and I agree with that. Judith should not, in my opinion, she should definitely not be using a cold python. She also knows sign language too.
Mm-hmm.
You know that.
The Colt Python is especially that kind of gun. It would have like a really massive recoil.
I know. I never even fired one, but we know it. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, that's how good we are at this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dan says Herschel will be better in the show. He better at least. The Commonwealth soldiers look awesome so far, I gotta say. Yeah, they do. Some people think they look kind of weird, but I think they look perfect, man.
Oh, me personally, I think they're great.
Yeah. I don't get why people say they look weird. Like, we got the CRM soldiers. At least the Commonwealth soldiers, you can see their eyes and how they see. The Commonwealth soldiers, I don't know how they see anything.
The Commonwealth soldiers, in my opinion, do look a little... Or not the Commonwealth soldiers. The CRM soldiers look a little goofy.
Yeah, sorry. I think I said it wrong. But, yeah, I mean, just... The CRM, they should not be able to see anything.
They look like they have, like, giant VR helmets over their faces.
Yeah. Maybe they think they're playing a game. Maybe that's what Elizabeth did. She put virtual reality helmets on their head when they went to the campus colony and was like, okay, guys, whoever gets high score gets this reward or something, and they murder 10,000 people, and they think it's a game.
Tuh.
I mean, that makes more sense than just the CRM is just full of brainwashed people who think murdering 10,000 people secures their future or something. Like, I don't know.
Well, so what happened to that dude? That dude who was questioning the campus colony massacre. He just disappears in episode 3. They take him to, like, some prison or something, and you just never see him again.
Yeah, maybe it's somewhere that Rick got sent to a couple times.
In my opinion, either that guy will show up in season 2, or we're just not going to see him until the Rick movies.
Yeah, just like everybody else.
Yep. We already have the World Beyond equivalent of Heath. Lovely.
Yeah, exactly. No more Moraleses, no more Heaths, just enough.
Fear's the king of that.
Yeah. Dan says Joffrey was the worst. Chosen says Beth musical episode. I think Beth was like, she's probably the only characters that would work just for a musical episode, but still, a musical episode wouldn't work, but Beth is probably the only characters that could sing.
The only time I could see a musical episode happening in The Walking Dead is if, like, the characters, like, take drugs and just trip out or something.
Yeah, because that's a smart idea to do. Like, when you have no home and stuff, just... Dan says, Abraham and Eugene show, alright, you got me interested, lol. Beth sings enough. Chosen says, Beth and Luke, musical episode. Yeah, because Luke...
Oh yeah, Luke sings too. Forgot about that.
Alden did too.
Alden does too, yeah, that's right.
Dan says, I'll pass, lol.
Same.
Spyro says, like, I don't mind all... Oh my goodness, I got so much of the chat left. Like, I don't mind all the spin-offs because I want all the Walking Dead content they give me. As long as it's good, Spyro. As long as it's good, I want it to. Dan says, me too, but it feels like too much at this point, honestly. Let's see, he's asking him a question. Dan says Merle was awesome in my opinion, but he was only nice in the last 5 minutes. That's his redemption arc, lol. Yeah, they went fast with Merle's redemption arc. Because they reintroduced him in season 3, and then they had to go fast with it.
Merle should have died in Too Far Gone.
You think they should have kept Merle?
I think they should have kept him past this sorrowful life and have him be a casualty of Too Far Gone. So that way we felt like we lost more people than just Herschel on our side during the battle.
Yeah. We lost Herschel and that guy named Julio. He was that, I think he was like Hispanic. He had a gray hoodie. And he got shot right in the back next to Glenn. So, like, it would have been Glenn if that guy wasn't there.
True enough. And then, I was thinking of another character, never mind.
Yeah, the comics do it differently.
When you said Julio, because I was thinking of that dude Merle kills with the guy from the governor's community, the Car Julio.
Yeah. Yeah, the comics do it differently. There's no, Herschel does die, but it's not, but a minor character doesn't die with him. It's a little bit bigger than that in the comic.
Yeah. I will say, in the comic, I agree with every death during the Too Far Gone arc, except for Billy.
I agree. Thank you so much for agreeing with me on that. Like, yeah, Billy was just a mistake. I feel like besides Maggie, in fact, he might have even been more interesting than Maggie.
I don't know what they were doing with that character.
For Maggie?
No, Billy, because they just, like, bring him in, start building him up. You actually kind of start to think that this character, like, you think that this character could, like, become pretty cool in the future. And then he just dies during the Too Far Gone stuff, and I'm just like, oh, come on.
Yeah. Robert Kirkman was too trigger-happy, that issue. I get it, we had to have a lot of losses, but they should have kept Billy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he gets injured, and you could do something cool where, like, he finds out, yeah, that Herschel did die, but, like, he wants to find Maggie, you know, only family left. So, I don't know, that would have been cool.
I agree.
Let's see. Dan says, finally, Daniel is good again, but he isn't around. All right, then. Chosen says, well, every Fear character is changed, and for the worst, I think. That's why IDC. I don't care about Madison possibly returning because she is practically a new character. Spyro says, like Season 5 Daniel, makes no sense. Oh, we're going to take this character that killed 400 people and make him a pacifist. Get out of here, Andy and Ian. Yeah, that's true. Dan says, as soon as Daniel started singing with Grace, I knew his character hit rock bottom. Spyro says, hey, Brian, in the way Terry got his death was similar to Lee's. They both got bit in similar ways. Yeah, I wanted to have, like, I don't know. I wasn't sure how I did Terry's death. Like, so, like, it just happens. Walker comes out of nowhere, bites him, and he doesn't even die from an infection. It's straight up blood loss, and Benjamin doesn't even get to say goodbye to his father. Just as he's trying to carry him, Terry just drops dead, and Benjamin is just kind of like not believing it, and it just happens like that. There's no goodbye. There's no build up. It just happens. Like, and then yeah, I don't know. I wanted to make it kind of different, but did you also think it was kind of like Lee's death, Matt?
I could see it like that partially, but I did think that it was a little more of its own thing, just because he wasn't like this long scene, like goodbye scene with Terry, because, you know, he's just more of he's a one episode type character where his death, or you could tell me if you agree with this as the writer or not, but what I see his death as is a plot device to show, like, Benjamin, like, this is the new world now, like, it's kill or be killed, and that's how he starts off in the zombie apocalypse, was the loss of his dad.
Yeah, Terry's death is gonna help Benjamin build up his character in Season 1 as being a character who he doesn't want to lose any more people in his life, and he doesn't want to take risks, and he's even if he has to take the hard road and take precautions to protect the people he cares about, he's going to do it.
Right.
Let's see. Dan says 2020 belongs in the trash can.
Heck yes, Dan. Heck yes.
Spyro says, hey, Brian, what was with the Walking Dead Season 8 reaction vid you uploaded? Okay, so the part where the Saviors are shooting at Rick with the 50 cal, I just decided that I don't think anyone made a video like this, so I took, when the 50 cal shoots Rick's Jeep and it doesn't break the glass and just makes it smoke a little.
Don't do nothing.
It barely does anything, and that's not what would actually happen in real life, so I took the scene from Spider-Man 2 with J.K. Simmons, as J. Jonah James.
Laughing.
Yeah, and then I put Scott Gimple there, and he's like, are you serious? Like, I just thought that was perfect, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, man. I like to call that the Fast and Furious scene.
It is. Let's see, Dan says the CRM soldiers are my favorite when it comes to their look. It's gonna be hot in those outfits. Like, seriously.
Imagine you just see CRM soldiers just start passing out like, ah.
Yeah, it's like, why do we wear all black again?
Like, he's got, like, the razor. One of them got, like, the razor on their guns out. And he passes out and, like, falls head first into the razor. And they're like, oh, crap.
Yeah. It's like, dang it, this is the 7th time today.
Oh, great. There goes Johnny.
Yeah. Spyro says, I prefer Commonwealth soldiers, Dan. Yeah, I agree. And Dan says, Merle feels a bit short-lived, in my opinion, too far gone. Could use another death, especially compared to the comics. Yeah, the comics was so brutal at that moment. We definitely needed some more characters to die in Too Far Gone. Not just Herschel. We definitely needed some more deaths. Spyro says, I prefer TV Maggie over Comic Maggie. Yeah, Comic Maggie was weird. She really only started being a character when Glenn died.
Agreed.
That's when she really became a character.
Wasn't a great character, though, to be honest.
Not a great character. I think that she was good in All Out War, but then in New Beginning, she was okay, but then she just went so flat after. After, like, New Beginning, she started getting kind of boring.
Because, Kirkman, like, says this a lot, but he easily runs out of ideas for characters.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, man, Beta is the equivalent of that.
Yeah. He just gets shot, and then it's like, no, I'm not that guy. I am Beta, and just falls dead face first.
Yeah, that was the most random death in the comics, and I'll take the TV death without the fight over that crap.
Any day. Chosen says should have kept Axel on the show and maybe comic. Don't remember him too much. Yeah, they could have kept Axel in season 4 and then killed him off in Too Far Gone.
My opinion, I would have had Axel die in season 3 still, and I would have kept Oscar around, the guy who saved Rick from Andrew.
Yeah, Oscar. His death came out of nowhere too.
Stupid.
Dan says, same, not a fan of Comic Maggie. Spyro says, also in the way I was expecting for Terry to turn the way you were taking it. Yeah, I mean, of course he would turn. Like, I mean, he died. Like, can you imagine in my series he didn't turn after he died? Like, that would be a plot hole. But, yeah, I mean, I just had Benjamin straight up fight his own dad as a zombie and kill him. I mean, I don't know. I think that, I don't know. I personally like that. I think it went well.
It gave me vibes to when Daryl had to put Merle down.
Yeah, kind of. Definitely. Carl also put down Rick in the comics, but he wasn't, like, fighting him. He just straight up saw him and pulled the trigger. I think Carl even said he didn't even know it was Rick.
Yeah, until he got a better look at the body after.
Yeah. But in my version, Benjamin is not. He doesn't know if his father is alive or dead, but he's still fighting him and just makes that decision.
Yeah.
Dan says, Terry's death makes sense to me. Also, a crazy way to start the series for Benjamin's character. Yeah, Matt, I cannot wait for you to watch the next 5 episodes because Benjamin goes through a big change. Like, I would say, since he's the main character, he definitely has the biggest character development in season 1. I would say, and he's, like, unrecognizable. I guess I can give you a hint of what happens. Like, that's how he is, I suppose.
Right.
But you will still, I personally think you will still like him, love him, even as a character.
Awesome.
So, like, even though he's completely changed, he's not, like, unlikable.
Very stoked to check it out, man.
Yeah, I can't wait either to hear your thoughts. Let's see. Dan says Too Far Gone feels short when it comes to the deaths, yeah. And he says Oscar was underused. Yeah, I mean, he was pretty loyal to Rick a few times, and then what send-off does he get? He gets shot when Rick hallucinates seeing his best friend that he killed.
Oh, man.
Like,
Oscar, in my opinion, like, I don't know what they were thinking offing him like that.
I don't know either. Like, they wanted to make room for Tyrese, I guess, and Sasha, but maybe they thought there were too many characters now.
Here's my take on it, right? Don't do Tyrese on the show. Like, have Oscar be the Tyrese character. Because, in my opinion, Tyrese on the show, he's just this pacifist guy who is, like, not even close to his comic counterpart.
I agree. Tyrese in the show was so disappointing.
I was, like, watching him, and I'm like, we get to, like, season 4 and 5 time, and I'm like, oh, the biggest moment that Tyrese, like, really grinded my gears in the show is when he spared that guy from Terminus that put his hands around Judith's neck.
Yes,
Spared that guy. Martin, that's him, yeah.
Yeah. I know we talked about it a bunch, but, like, Benjamin, my character Benjamin would not have done that. Like, he would have done something completely different to Martin. He doesn't. You mess with something as innocent as a baby, and he's not going to show mercy to you, even if he doesn't know the baby.
Well, that's why I was fed up with Tyrese. I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? You left that guy alive?
Yeah. A character who doesn't know when to make that decision to do the job that needs to be done, especially in that situation. Tyrese wasn't having character development. He wasn't willing to make that change.
No.
Even though it's been 2 whole seasons, and it's like, well, a character who's not going through a change, what's the point of that character, you know?
If I just wish, like, I would have paid money to have seen, like, Rick in there with Martin. Oh, boy.
Oh, yes. Yes, oh, man, we would have had, like, season 4 finale all over again.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Rick would have painted the cabin red.
Yeah, there'd be nothing left.
Yeah, just, like, there's no body even.
They just go in, they're like, Rick, what the hell? They just go in, there's just nothing left except the walls are just painted red.
Yeah, it's like, did he explode? And then Rick's like, something like that. It's like, and just just take care of his Judith, like, he's just got blood on him, and just like,
yeah.
That is why we love Rick.
They're like, Rick, what the heck happened to him? And he's just like, what?
Yeah. That's a genius idea, man. Exactly.
We got Tyrese in the cabin instead.
Yeah. Yeah. That was disappointing.
Also,
yeah,
what's up?
I thought he really did kill Martin. Like, he said, I won't, or something like that, but he kept punching him, and you keep hearing it, so I'm like, okay, he's got to be dead after those many hits. And he's still going after.
Yeah. And another thing with Tyrese from Season 5, he doesn't even take part in the death of, like, Gareth or anything. He just sits there and watches in the corner.
Yeah.
He doesn't even help.
I can't like a character like that.
So, like, when he died, right, I was just like, yeah, bye, Tyrese. Like, I guess you were a decent guy, but as, like, a Walking Dead character, you really didn't do much.
Jerry was better.
Jerry is, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, they should have never done TV Tyrese. Keep Oscar around as the Tyrese character, and just save all that for Jerry in Season 7 or whatever.
Exactly. Or, like, Tyrese is maybe a different actor and just completely different character, like how he is in the comic.
That's what I'm saying, though, is Oscar basically was like TV Tyrese, so just have him be that character.
Yeah.
And don't kill him.
That could work. Sparrow says that's what I didn't like about Glenn Mazzara. He was too bloodthirsty. He killed too many characters in Season 3.
Agreed.
Yeah, he did. I mean, we lost Tyrese, Andrea, Lori, all the prisoners, pretty much all of Woodbury.
Oh, Tyrese died in Season 5.
Did I say Tyrese died in Season 3?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Oscar.
Oscar, yeah. T-Dog.
Yes, T-Dog. How can I forget the dog? Not Daryl Dog, the other dog, you know. But
Yeah.
Lori's death overshadows Tyrese so much.
That's why I'm saying, like, I still like that episode, and I do think that was, like, an insane episode. Like, that episode's a masterpiece in my opinion. So, I mean, I'm fine with the 2 deaths. But Andrea, Merle, and Oscar, nah, they shouldn't have been killed.
I agree. Dan says Season 3 should have had better deaths in my opinion. A lot of it feels forced. Especially Andrea's. They had to do it because they were like, fans didn't like what Andrea's sleeping with the governor, so it's like, let's just kill her off.
So fix the character.
Yeah, fix the character before she does that, because we haven't seen it yet. You can redo it. It's not like they write it and it's final. When the episode's out, then it's final.
I don't know, man. And people didn't like her in Season 2 and 1. So you think in Season 3 the writers would have been like, okay, we gotta do something about this character.
Exactly. Dan says, yeah, at this point, really, Oscar would be a better Tyrese, LOL.
Agreed.
Yeah. Sparrow says it's the same thing with Fear Season 3, just killed too many characters. Yeah, both seasons, Season 3s, but both shows kill off too many characters. Dan says Tyrese is just Season 7 Morgan, but all the time in wars. Oh, yeah, with the whole not wanting to kill people even if you have to.
Morgan and Tyrese would have gotten along fancy if they met.
Yeah, especially with the whole pacifist thing. But now Tyrese he would be shocked at Morgan now.
Oh yeah, especially Fear Season 6. Like, I'd say Morgan is the best he's ever been now, because he's not killing people ruthlessly for no reason. He's not a pacifist either. He's a perfect balance.
Exactly. That's what I like. That's what I'm trying to do with most of the characters in Extinction.
Yeah.
Like, make him gray. You know, like, not willing to kill, but only in the right situations and the right people.
Yeah, plus, I was sitting there, and I'm like, they finally made Morgan a freaking good character. I was kind of laughing. I'm like, geez, guys, it only took you freaking 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. Dan's... Oh, wait, Chosen, he's upset about Andrew. Yeah, what they did with Andrew is bad. Dan says, Season 5, Rick with Martin. I would pay money as well, LOL.
Oh, yeah.
I think, man, just like... just film... even if they film a non-canon scene, I would pay money to see that.
Yeah. You used to have Martin in the cabin. You used to have Rick come in with the red machete, and he's like, let's begin, shall we?
Yeah. Dan says, Tyrese thinks Sasha should forgive Garrett. Okay, Gimple, you officially ruined that character.
Oh, wait, I forgot Tyrese was upset that they killed the termites.
Yeah, they kind of were. He talked with Sasha after that, right?
Dude, I remember that now. I remember being mad at Tyrese at that point, too. I'm like, man, they were cannibals.
I think we try to forget that happened. Like, there were kids toys at Terminus. I don't feel bad one bit for what they did.
No, and Gareth literally could have backed off of Rick's group, and he wouldn't have been killed in that manner.
Yeah.
He brought it on himself.
Like, when Tyrese died, I just didn't feel anything. He was a good guy, yes, but a really boring character. And here's the thing. A character who's not willing to protect the group, like Tyrese, basically, is just as bad as someone who is reckless and dangerous. It's just as bad.
In my opinion, I don't know if this exists, but I'll say it. I think Tyrese is too much of a good man.
Yeah.
Like, for the apocalypse.
Yeah, I mean...
Like, even
exactly.
Morgan in Season 6, in the finale, like, he was all, like, life is precious, but he still killed that savior that was gonna kill, Carol.
Exactly. I mean... Like, would Tyrese have not done it? And then Carol would have died. Then people would have... That's what I mean. A character who, if Tyrese was there and didn't do it, Carol would have died, and that would have made Tyrese a worse character than someone who kills, or just as bad as a character who kills all the time.
Mm-hmm. Because in my opinion, I feel like Tyrese, if it was Tyrese in that scene, I feel like he would have just, like, hesitated and, like, waited too long, and Carol would have gotten killed.
Exactly.
And then he would have got himself shot right after.
Exactly. He's dangerous to the group. By not killing, you're just as dangerous as someone who does it too much. DeRosa says, dang, Spyro says real quick, Fear the Walking Dead Season 3 was similar to The Walking Dead Season 3. Too many characters were killed. DeRosa says, dang, I've been so busy. How much longer is the stream going to be? Yeah, how long have we been... Oh, wow. It's been, 2 hours now?
2 hours, 33 minutes, but we're just running along with it, I would say, at the moment.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, we really have to end this soon.
What are you thinking, Brian? Like, I mean, I could still go for a little bit, but I'm thinking we could either end this in either, like, 10 minutes, or we could go till we hit the 3-hour mark. I could go to the 3-hour mark, but how are you feeling?
I really don't know. maybe the 10-minute mark. Let's see how much we get caught up with the chat and see where it goes from there. But yeah, I'm feeling like the 10-minute mark. I do have work all day tomorrow, and
Okay, so
I should get ready.
I'm checking the time here. We could wrap this up at 2:45.
Yeah, something like that. The Rosa says, dang, I've been so busy. Okay, you already said that. Spyro says, TV Andrea was a train wreck. Comic Andrea is amazing. Yeah, she is. It's a shame we never got Comic Andrea 100%. They were going to do that with Sasha, but then they killed her off.
Gimble's like, hang on, let me ruin that real quick.
Yeah, I ruined Tyrese. I ruined Carl. Let me ruin Andrea, too. All these iconic characters from the comic.
Yep. And then let's bring in mediocre TV exclusive characters like Tara.
Yeah. Dan says, Killer Within is a fantastic episode. Let's say a huge thanks to Andrew Lincoln for that amazing scene. Yeah.
Masterpiece.
Yeah, that scene at the end, that was great. But then it's just like, wait a minute. When Rick cried more for Lori than Carl. You think about it for a second, and it's like, oh boy.
I don't think he even shed a tear for Carl, like, after he died. I think he was just kind of, like, plain-faced.
Yeah. Like going Iris or something.
Yeah, I'm like, hey man, this is his son. Like, you think he would show, like, a bit more emotion than this?
Yeah. Dan says
Michonne, too. She don't show no emotion.
Yeah. Like in No Way Out, she showed plenty of emotion. When Carl got shot and she was killing the walkers, when you show emotion while you're killing walkers, that is great acting.
It's like Negan showed more emotion over that walkie-talkie call in episode 10 than Rick.
Yeah. I don't know. Dan says Tyrese would be disappointed in Morgan, and Morgan would be like, join me, buddy, or continue to hate, LOL. Yeah, Morgan would be like, I don't care. Either join us or go do your own thing. I don't care.
Or get lost, exactly.
Yeah. Chosen says, what would Rick think of Season 4 and 5 Morgan? What would Season 5 Rick think of that man? Season 4 and 5... well, Season 4 Rick was nicer than Season 5 Rick. Rick was kind of a savage in Season 5.
I'd say for the first and part of the second half. When he gets to Alexandria and shaves up, he is a little more tame.
Kind of. I think he's just hiding it. Like, just because he's cleaner on the outside doesn't mean he's cleaner on the inside.
Right.
Like, he's it's still in there. Like, the rootlessness.
Yeah. I remember that speech he gives after he beats the crap out of Pete. That was awesome.
Yeah. Dan says, Rick and the others killing the hunters. I thank them for not taking Tyrese's idea, because if this was Fear, Tyrese's idea would have been a final decision.
Oh, yeah. In Season 5 of Fear, if this was our characters that were fighting the termites, they would have all been like, we can't hurt them. They're human lives.
Yeah, it's like, all life is precious. And it's like, are you guys serious right now?
Meanwhile, you have psychopaths that are trying to eat you on your tail.
Yeah, it's like, we can find a resolution. Well, yeah, we could if one of you gives your entire body to them.
Exactly.
I don't think that's much of a compromise, or that's not a reasonable compromise.
You remember that scene in Fear? I think it was episode 12 or 13 of Season 5, when, like, you have our crew of characters all in that RV camp, and then when Logan's crew shows up, there's like two cars pulling up. They're like, oh crap, it's Logan, we gotta get out of here.
Yeah, it's like they could have fought. They have so many people.
They would have killed Logan. They could have lit Logan's crew up in 2 seconds if they wanted.
Or they could have just went outside and said, like, you guys have 2 minutes to turn around or something like that. And just have people on with sniper rifles aiming at them from the roofs. And just, like, yeah, they had the defensive position, so why leave?
Oh, man, they run away like, oh god, it's Logan. Run.
DeRosa says, dang, AMC should get all of us and make us a showrunner council.
Heck yeah.
Yes, that would be awesome.
Me, you, Wasteland,
the
Giuseppe, and Dan.
Yes, it would be the best Walking Dead council ever.
Hell yeah.
Spyro says it's the same thing with Gabriel. After Garrett dies, Gabe rats the group out when they get to Alexandria. Yeah, that's true. Gabriel, though, was like super religious at the time, and at the time, not a good character. So it helped with his transition to being a better character. But
my opinion, the first scene that I actually liked Gabriel in was when he was saying that prayer and then killed that savior in episode 12.
That's when he really started becoming really good. He also saved Judith because if he didn't take Judith away, Carl would have landed on her in No Way Out, and she would have died.
Yeah.
So yeah, Gabriel made a call there, and that saved Judith.
He was correct.
No one talks about it though.
Yeah. I think people forget.
That's true. Man, I gotta read the rest of this chat. I'm sorry. This chat is just. I mean, I love it, but it's like I'm always behind. I'm never behind this much. You know, on my streams. You know what I mean? Like, let's see. Dan says Gimple ruins everything we loved in season 7 and 8. Thanks for that. Rick after Carl feels off to me. I guess like after Carl dies, like Rick, the character feels off. Like it goes back to Jadist and murders the saviors. Like all of it's just off. Even going after Negan, on his own, mind you. Like he totally left the group, like just to get personal revenge on Negan, who didn't even do anything to Carl. At least resulting in his death. So like, yeah, not exactly the right decision there.
You'd think someone like Rosita or Maggie would have tried to pull a stunt like that before Carl.
Oh, before Rick, but yeah. Yeah, like let's remember that Maggie lost the last person she loved in this world, her husband, to him.
Oh, I was referencing when Carl went to the sanctuary in the back of the truck.
Oh yeah, like that's what you meant, yeah.
Yeah, which is like I was saying like you think someone who actually lost someone to Negan would have tried to pull something stupid like that before Carl's to try that.
That's true. Maggie was still sick though, so it makes sense that she didn't do it just yet.
Yeah.
I guess. DeRosa says, I disagree. Rick and Michonne were crying. What do you guys mean? I guess like it was just so fast. I guess it was just like so fast after. Like they bury Carl and immediately they're like, okay, we have to go. It was kind of fast.
Right.
Dan says, I agree. Rick should have shown emotion, but Michonne was fine, in my opinion. Yeah, Rick, it's pretty obvious Rick was just bottling it up, just holding it back until they figure out a plan. Dan says, all life is precious. Guys, just leave it to Daniel. LOL. Yeah, it's like, all life is precious. All life is precious, and then Daniel will be like, what life? And then there's just like 100 dead bodies.
Yeah, all life is precious. That cuts to Daniel, except for that guy. That guy don't care.
Oh, yeah, it's like, except for that guy, and that guy, and that guy, and that, like 100 times, and that guy, and that guy. Like,
yeah.
Oh, man. Man, they should have us do the comedy show. I'm sorry, just like moments like that, I think those would be hilarious.
Straight up.
DeRosa says, bro, Logan was so trash. He was.
Agreed.
He wasn't as bad as Martha, though.
He's a masterpiece compared to that character.
Yeah. Spyro says that's the problem with Fear the Walking Dead Season 5. It's like more like Z Nation than it is The Walking Dead. Yeah, it's like AMC, stop ripping off other zombie shows. Stick with what you are doing, you know?
And I have an unpopular opinion here, but I don't even like Z Nation.
I don't watch it. Like,
I watched the first couple episodes, right? And I was just like, yeah, I don't really care for this too much.
Yeah. Man, we really gotta wrap up. I think I'm almost done with the chat.
Alright, speed run the chat, Brian.
Alright, thank you, I will. Dan says Logan is apparently scary to them. Yes, they must be scared of his face or something. Dan says we should run that council like bosses. We would make the Walking Dead franchise the best franchise out there. Absolutely, Dan. DeRosa says, bro, Logan is a clown.
Yes.
DeRosa says, bro, Gimple has done some amazing stuff in The Walking Dead, but he has done some really bad stuff as well. Yeah, he has. We talked about it many times on my live streams. Dan says Gimple did season 6 a good, but that cliffhanger. Yeah, that was a bad cliffhanger. And Dan says we don't need a comedy show. Little funny scenes like the Daniel one is enough. Yeah, that's true. Wait, I think we're done. Yeah, we're caught up with the chat, Matt.
Cool. All right. Is there any final things we want to add here?
Let's see. Hold on. Spyro says, I'm hoping Here's Negan is as good as the comic version.
Should be.
I hope so, too. I hope the actress for Lucille is the right role. I hope she's not an Iris.
No,
I pray
Lord.
she's not an Iris. Oh, yeah. And Dan says, thanks for the stream, guys. You're absolutely welcome, Dan. And thank you, Matt. This was so much fun.
This was great, dude.
It went a little bit longer than it was supposed to, because my schedule is just now off, because I now need to figure out what I'm gonna do. But yeah, thanks, Matt. Like once every month, that would be perfect. Like I do my stream still, and maybe once in a while we'll ask if one of us is free on this day to do the collab.
For sure, man.
For sure. Alright, sounds good. DeRosa says apparently Andrew Lincoln said he regrets leaving.
I've seen that, yeah.
I heard Lanny James say he regrets leaving, but not Andrew Lincoln.
Andrew Lincoln apparently just brought it up. I've seen it on Instagram.
It's like, it's been 2 years, and now he tells us?
Oh, man. I'm like, you should have never left, bro.
Well, he gave the show, like, 9 years, which is, like, nine times more than Corey Hawkins, so...
Oh, man. I wish they would have told him that it was ending in Season 11, and then maybe he would have stayed, because he would have seen that there is an ending.
Yeah. Oh, are you talking about Andrew Lincoln?
Andrew Lincoln, yeah.
That's what I would have done. I would have just said, like, listen, the comics, I would talk to Robert Kirkman and be like, wait, the comics are ending soon? Okay, then I would tell Andrew Lincoln, like, yeah, the comics end here, which is about Season 11. And, if you could stay, we'll end it right there, you know what I mean?
And I feel like they could have worked out a deal. He would have stayed.
Definitely. Spyro says, I've always been a Negan fan, even though 7 and 8, he was badly written. I agree. Dan says, Andrew Lincoln, come back and forget the movies.
Please.
Yeah. Spyro says, by the way, Brian, you hear about the latest Rick movie updates? Yeah, I think so. About them starting filming in spring next year.
Yeah, that's what Andy Lincoln wants. That's what he's been saying.
Hopefully if COVID doesn't ruin another thing this year, like, that's ruined pretty much.
Oh, boy. COVID, honestly, better not be a major problem for the whole of 2021, or I'll be fed up.
Me too, man. Me too, absolutely. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining the collab between megamatt and me. I really appreciate it. And, yeah, hopefully maybe a month we can do this collab again. But until then, Matt and me are going to be doing our own separate streams until then. Just because we have our own things to do in life and our own stories. And, yeah.
All that good stuff.
And Matt, thank you so much. I hope you have a good night.
Same to you, man.
Yeah, and take care, man.
Take care, bud.
All right. And, yeah, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you all as well, guys.